Hello there, everybody. It's me, Garrett Kidney, the co-host of You've Got to Be Kidding Me on the Voices of Wrestling Podcasting Network.
And I am Liam Jones, my full name, and I'm also a part of the Voices of Wrestling Podcasting Network as a co-host for You've Got to Be Kidding Me.
We are a TNA history podcast that covers TNA 1 month at a time. We cover all the drama, all the matches, all the Vince Russo nonsense you could ever want in your life.
Have you heard of TNA? I bet you have, but would it be funnier if two people made jokes over it the whole time? Probably.
So if that sounds like fun to you, check it out on this very Voices of Wrestling Podcasting Network, and Liam will do bits and whatnot.
Hello there, my name's Neil David, and I'm the host of Eurograps Express, the podcast exclusively dedicated to the wrestling of Europe. If it's wrestling and it happens in Europe and it's good, we talk about it. Whether it's RevPro, Progress, WXW, Passion Pro, Pro Wrestling Chaos, Pro Wrestling North, we don't care, we talk about them all. If it's good and it's exciting, I want to share it with you. We're on the Voices of Wrestling Podcasting Network. Check us out on the feed, check us out on Twitter at EuroGrapsEXP, and join us for chat about European wrestling and a little bit of chat about cheese. Hopefully see you there.
Book your New Jersey summer vacation. Get ready for sunshine vibes and waves of beach and boardwalk fun. Go for exciting destinations, entertaining nightlife, and endless outdoor adventures. Whether relaxing along 130 miles of Jersey Shore or climbing high in the Skylands. Create your New Jersey summer escape at visitnj.org/book now.
What should we do with the broke propeller? What should we do with the broke propeller? Don't look at me, I wasn't driving. Thank you, you're not helping. I don't even know why you bought this boat. You told me that you loved this boat. That was before you wrecked the boat. Well, now you've made it awkward.
Accidents don't just happen in sea shanties, so Progressive Boat Insurance has you covered. Take as little as 4 minutes to see what you can save at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Covered subject to policy terms and not available for all boats or in all situations.
California, city of angels. It's gonna be trouble. Right. I've been preaching this all my life, right, bro? Out the windows.
What's going on, guys? This is Rich. You are listening to Voices of Wrestling's WrestleMania Weekend 2023 preview podcast. This is the introduction. Over the next couple of days, you're going to get hours upon hours of preview content covering just about every single WrestleMania weekend show this year. We didn't get to every one of them, but there's like 40 plus that are going on, so you'll live with it if a couple didn't get covered. But man, you got a lot covered here over the course of these next episodes and these next few hours. Now, this is going to act as the introduction. And what I usually do here is give you kind of the overall view of the weekend, and then we're going to go day by day, event by event, everything that's going on every single day for WrestleMania weekend. Then we're going to do that again, but in a little bit more detail with the preview podcast, where people selected shows that they wanted to talk about, came on, Voice of Wrestling contributors came on, and we discussed the shows, gave previews, they gave their thoughts about what they were looking forward to, all the other stuff. So it's an annual tradition we do here at Voices of Wrestling, and I love doing it. And we'll do it yet again. And we cover WrestleMania weekend better than anybody else. That I don't know why we still do it. We probably shouldn't. One of these years, the promotion's going to say, hey, thank you for spotlighting WrestleMania weekend and getting people to buy tickets to our show and watch our show. Probably won't be this year. Hasn't been any other year, but I'm sure at some point someone's going to thank us. But yeah, we do an incredible job over at voicesofwrestling.com covering all of that stuff. Griffin, who has done just a masterful job keeping that schedule page together, scouring through Eventbrite, scouring through a bunch of just horrible places to have to find every single show and every single match happening on WrestleMania weekend. So again, as I said, we'll do a basic overview here, and then we'll get into all of the shows. Now, the big things that you need to know this year for WrestleMania weekend, probably the most important part, is that all of the collective GCW stuff is all going to be available on Fight Plus. Now, what that means for you is you're going to go to voicesofwrestling.com/fight. That's how you're going to do it, of course, because you're going to help us out, voicesofwrestling.com/fight. And you're going to subscribe to Fight Plus. Now, you can do a 7-day trial. I'm just saying, if you do a 7-day trial and you time it properly, just saying, it might work out pretty well for you. But if you decide to pay $7.99 a month, you are going to get every single one of these shows for even if you cancel after that first month, essentially think of it as for $7.99, you're getting all these shows. Now, all the ones I'm going to talk about that are on Fight Plus, those are the ones that are going to be available. Now, there are some shows that are going to be on Fight that are not available on Fight Plus. They're not a part of that package. I'll note that when I do these previews. I'll note that. But again, if you are interested in watching a lot of the shows that I talk about on Fight Plus, you don't have to buy a big package. You don't have to spend $120 or $180. I forget what it was last year. It's a pretty hefty price last year to do it. And that's still a lot of wrestling for the value you got it. I mean, it's still a very, very good value, but you don't have to do that. For $7.99, you're going to get all that sort of stuff. And you might be saying, well, how does that work? Who cares? That's not your problem. I say it in a few of the previews. That's for Fight to figure out, not you and me. You pay $7.99, you get all these shows. That's what they said. Don't worry about how it works. Don't worry about, that's for accounts receivable to figure out. That's for their payroll department to figure out, not us. We don't have to care. $7.99, Fight Plus, you're going to get all that. Now, some of the stuff is also available on High Spots TV. We don't have a fancy link for that. You just go to High Spots TV. You can do that. I think it's $14.99 a month for that service, and that's going to get you a few of the other shows as well. So no fancy links there, nothing there that's going to help us out. So subscribe however the hell you want to High Spots. But Fight, voicesofwrestling.com/fight, as well as the other shows that are going to be on Fight as well. If you want Fight Plus, voicesofwrestling.com/fight's how you're going to want to do it, or on any of the other shows as well. You can also get those at voicesofwrestling.com/fight. If you want to make it a little bit easier, all you have to do is go to the voicesofwrestling.com WrestleMania Weekend schedule page, and we have embedded links and embedded players for every single one of the shows that is on Fight this weekend. So it makes it a little bit easier. You just have to click buy now or start watching or purchase or whatever, and you'll be able to buy right there. So if you're not sure if you don't want to go through the Fight site and find the schedule or whatever, we have it all listed there, nice and easy. You click watch live or click the embedded video below any of the matches, and you will get right to the specific show you want to. So there you go. On that page, we also have an event map if you want to kind of keep a record or kind of figure out where the hell all these shows are happening if you're going to be in the Los Angeles area. So definitely recommend that. And as well, we will at the end of this discuss different events, podcasts, live shows that are going on WrestleMania weekend as well, in addition to all of the wrestling shows. But I'm going to do the weekend thing here again. Go through every single one of the WrestleMania weekend shows that are happening. I'm not going to break down the cards or anything. I'm just going to give you the name of the event, the time, where it's located, and how you can watch it. All that other stuff is going to be available over at voicesofwrestling.com, or you're going to hear it in these preview podcasts that we're going to do here. I do want to make one more note before I get that we recorded a lot of the previews before this week. It's just impossible to record all of these the week of WrestleMania. So what we did is some of these were done a week ago. Some of these were done 5 days ago, 4 days ago, 3 days ago. I'm recording this on March 25th for full disclosure. So if a card or a wrestler that we talk about is either not appearing anymore, got hurt, canceled, whatever, or a show that we're talking about isn't the same as it happens. That's WrestleMania weekend. There's no way for us to possibly wait until the final day to do this. So some of the previews, you might say, oh, well, that match isn't happening anymore. Well, it was happening when we recorded it, but it's not happening anymore. So just keep that in mind, that we record these things over a week in advance, and we either don't have the full cards for all the shows or things do change. So just keep that in mind when you hear these previews. But without any further ado, I think let's get after it. Let's talk about what is happening this WrestleMania weekend, what is happening at each and every day of what is essentially now WrestleMania week. I feel like I'm still stuck on WrestleMania weekend, and I'm probably going to call it WrestleMania weekend my entire life because that's just the way I grew up. But we might need to start officially calling this WrestleMania week. But let's get after it. This is the full schedule for WrestleMania weekend. So we start on Wednesday, March 29th. Yes, things kick off bright and early on March 29th, Wednesday. Dark Arts Entertainment, Monster Mania, 1 p.m. Pacific time. By the way, all of these times, so I don't have to say Pacific time every single time, are going to be Pacific. At 1 p.m. from Don Quixote in Los Angeles, California. No streaming information about that one, but tickets are still available for Dark Arts Entertainment, Monster Mania, 1 p.m. Wednesday, March 29th. 5 p.m. Pandemonium Pro Wrestling TV Volume 4, Best Damn Thing. Also from Don Quixote in Los Angeles, California. Tickets still available. This one is not streaming live. It will be available on IWTV, Independent Wrestling .tv at a later date. Ringmaster, Vince McMahon and the Unmaking of America. The launch party to the new book from Abraham, Josephine, Reisman. It has been reviewed by us, by our, ironically enough, VOW book reviewer, Abraham Delgado, reviewed Ringmaster, Vince McMahon, and the Unmaking of America. They are going to do a show kind of talking about it and launching the book officially. That's at 8 p.m. Burbank Moose Lodge in Burbank, California. We have MicroMania Midget Wrestling, one of the victims of the changing of the cards from when we previewed it. And unfortunately, a big-time match. Mini 50 Cent and Mini Ja Rule has been canceled, and now it is Mini 50 Cent versus Mini McGregor instead. So a suitable replacement indeed, but not quite what you guys were all expecting. But 8 p.m., Whiskey A Go-Go in Hollywood, California. Then we also have at 8 p.m. Violence and Suffering is going to team up with SWA Puerto Rico for Set the Tone. 8 p.m. for the American Legion Post 241 in Baldwin Park, California. 9 p.m. Relentless Wrestling's Chaos in California, also from Don Quixote in Los Angeles, California. That is it for Wednesday. Now we move on to Thursday, March 30th. Santino Brothers Wrestling California Love, 11 a.m. from the Ukrainian Cultural Center in Los Angeles, California. This is the first show that is going to be available on the Fight Plus package that we talked about earlier. voicesofwrestling.com/fight is how you get $7.99 for all of the shows this Mania weekend. So you do not, definitely do not want to miss that. Crimson Crown Wrestling, Crimson Kingdom, that's taking place at 11 a.m. from the famous Florence Arena in Los Angeles, California. They're going to come back a couple hours later with Crimson Crown Wrestling Violent World, their deathmatch show at 2 p.m. from the famous Florence Arena in Los Angeles, California. Circle 6 has promised 30 plus hours of wrestling. I don't know if they're going to quite get there, but all of their shows are going to be streaming live on YouTube for free. Circle 6, brother, can you spare a dime? 2 p.m. from Knucklehead Hollywood in Hollywood, California. I'm also under the impression that to get to all of the Circle 6 shows, you basically just need to pay a cover charge to Knucklehead Hollywood, and then you are good to go for the entire weekend if you want to be there the entire weekend. You might want to go home at some point, but so you might have to pay twice have to pay $6, but as far as I know, that is all it's going to cost you to get in, and it's going to cost you free. It's going to cost you nothing to watch it at home on their YouTube channel. Circle 6, Lindsay Snow's Kaiju Cannabis Cup. That's taking place at 3 p.m. From Knucklehead Hollywood in Hollywood, California. Then the big guns start to show up here at 4 p.m. Josh Barnett's Bloodsport 9 from the Ukrainian Cultural Center in Los Angeles, California. Again, you can watch that on Fight Plus. Mark Hitchcock Memorial Super Show, 4 p.m. Globe Theater in Los Angeles, California. That one you can watch on highspots.tv. Looks like, always a great show, Mania weekend. So can highly recommend that one if you are going to Los Angeles and looking for a show. Circle 6 is back at it with Vinny Massaro's Pro Wrestling Combine, 4 p.m. Knucklehead Hollywood in Hollywood, California. Circle 6 again at 5 p.m. Mama Kogar's Delicate Flowers. That's at 5 p.m. Knucklehead Hollywood, Hollywood, California. 5 p.m. as well on the Thursday. All Caribbean Wrestling Island Vibes. 5 p.m. from Common Space Brewery in Hawthorne, California. Circle 6 is back at it at 6 p.m. as well with Hoodfoot Presents Crosses and Caskets. 6 p.m. from Knucklehead Hollywood in Hollywood, California. ComptonMania, where are you from? 2023 Compton versus the world at 6 p.m. from Can-Am Dental in Compton, California. Now, is it actually happening in a dentist's office? Is it maybe just a parking lot of the dentist's office? We don't know. When you go to their event page, it says Can-Am Dental. So as far as we know, it's taking place at the dental office. It's probably taking place in their parking lot, but that's fine. It's the joke. Just go along with it. ComptonMania, where are you from? 2023 Compton versus the world. At 7 p.m., Coast to Coast Wrestling presents Genesis from Telamerica Studios in Anaheim, California. That is not streaming, but tickets are available. Empire Wrestling Federation and Los Angeles Wrestling presents Jake the Snake Roberts Flirting with Venom. That's at 7 p.m. from the Sheraton San Gabriel in San Gabriel, California. There is a lot of other stuff on, a lot of other matches on that show. Now, if you want to watch those, that's up to you to decide, but you can see Jake Roberts there as well. They've also told you that Alberto Del Rio, Chris Masters, and Sin Bodhi will also be signing autographs. So if you're interested in any of that, you can go to the Sheraton San Gabriel in San Gabriel, California. At 8 p.m., DDT Goes to Hollywood from the Ukrainian Cultural Center in Los Angeles, California. Again, that is available on Fight Plus. New Japan and Impact present Multiverse United, Only the Strong Survive. That is at 8 p.m. at the Globe Theater in Los Angeles, California. That is going to be streaming on Fight, but you are going to need a separate purchase for that. That is not available on the Fight Plus package, but you can get that at voicesofwrestling.com/fight. 8 p.m., we have Lucha Pariso Wrestling, Return of the Dragon. As many things that say wrestling in it as possible, Return of the Dragon. 8 p.m. from the Xander Sports Arena in Gardena, California. Not a whole lot announced, but you do have an even more impressive way to say wrestling a bunch of other times. You have the Joshi Lucha Wrestling Parisu Cup. So that's Wrestling Cup. That is going to be on 8 p.m. Xander Sports Arena, Gardena, California. Circle 6 presents Valentine Vision at 10 p.m. from Knucklehead Hollywood in Hollywood, California. And then GCW's For the Culture, the annual For the Culture show, is back again, 11:59 p.m. from the Ukrainian Cultural Center in Los Angeles. That will also be available on Fight Plus. But the night is not over because there is also another midnight show, Early Morning Guy Steele's Early Morning Show at 11:59 p.m. As far as we know, and this is what the poster says, quote, location will only be given to ticket holders, but it will be somewhere in the San Fernando Valley. So location only given to ticket holders to Early Morning Guy Steele's Early Morning Show. So that is it for Thursday. For Friday, March 31st, GCW Jimmy Lloyd's D-Generation F, 11 a.m. from the Ukrainian Cultural Center in Los Angeles, California. That, of course, will be on Fight Plus. Tokyo Joshi Pro Wrestling's Live in Los Angeles, 12 p.m. from the Globe Theater in Los Angeles. That is also available on Fight, but will need to be purchased separately at voicesofwrestling.com/fight. Circle 6 back at it again on Friday with Circle 6 Jake Christ Firestarters, 12 p.m. from Knucklehead Hollywood in Hollywood, California. Circle 6 Zachary Wentz's Treehouse of Dreams, 1 p.m. from Knucklehead Hollywood, California, again streaming on their YouTube channel for free. And then one more time, Circle 6 AJ Gray's Power Hour, their Beef Boy show with a bunch of beefy dudes slapping meat here, 2 p.m. Knucklehead Hollywood, California. Watch on their YouTube channel. DDT versus GCW, 3 p.m. from the Ukrainian Cultural Center. That will be live on voicesofwrestling.com/fight and Fight Plus. So for Fight Plus subscriber, you're going to get it all right there. Coast to Coast Wrestling TV taping #1, 3 p.m. from Telemerica Studios in Anaheim, California. Scheduled to appear Carlito. And that's it. But hey, if you're in Anaheim, California, and you got nothing to do at 3 p.m., go to Telemerica Studios and watch Coast to Coast Wrestling TV taping 1. No Peace Underground. They're invading the Circle 6 area, and they're going to come for a 3 p.m. show from Knucklehead Hollywood in Hollywood, California. Then one of the big boys of the weekend, ROH's Super Card of Honor, 4 p.m. from the Gallon Center in Los Angeles, California. That is going to be available on traditional pay-per-view, Bleacher Report as well. If you are not in the United States, you can order that on voicesofwrestling.com/fight. Prestige Wrestling has joined the mix as well with Nervous Breakdown, 4 p.m. from the Globe Theater in Los Angeles, California. You can watch that show on highspots.tv. SmackDown, of course, is taking place in the Crypto.com Arena, the home of the Lakers and the Clippers for now, in Los Angeles, California. SmackDown and the WWE Hall of Fame. SmackDown's going to have the Andre the Giant Battle Royal, and the Hall of Fame, they're going to have Rey Mysterio, Great Muta, Andy Kaufman, and perhaps some more being inducted during the course of SmackDown. So there you go. Circle 6, I believe it's 7, but I'm just going to go with SVN to be an old curmudgeon there because that's how it's spelled here. 5 p.m., Knucklehead Hollywood, California. Coast to Coast Wrestling TV taping #2, 6 p.m. from the Telemerica Studios in Anaheim, California. Scheduled to appear, still just Carlito, but that's fine. Hey, you really like Carlito? Boy, do I have the show for you. Do I have the shows for you, I should say. Coast to Coast Wrestling, plenty of Carlito in those. Real Deal ResinMania, taking place 6 p.m. from Hazy Studios in Los Angeles, California. Live Hot Dabs podcast with The Godfather and live music by the Water Boys. 7:20. So there you go. Millennium Pro Wrestling's MPW Mania, 7:30 p.m. from the Millennium Wrestling Academy in Chatsworth, California. GCW Joey Janela's Spring Break 7, 8 p.m. from the Ukrainian Cultural Center in Los Angeles, California. Of course, you can watch that on Fight Plus. Then you have 8 p.m. from the Burbank Moose Lodge in Burbank, California. Wrestling Pro Wrestling presents Russell Crowe Wrestling WrestleMania 3. Russell Crowe will not be wrestling. So there you go. Smash as many jokes in as humanly possible. That's what that show is. Folks, if you want Carlito, let me tell you, Coast to Coast Wrestling TV taping number 3, 9 p.m. Telemerica Studios in Anaheim, California. Scheduled to appear Carlito. New Fear City Murder Mania, 11 p.m. from Super Chief Art Gallery in Los Angeles, California. And then GCW Emo Fight at 11:59 p.m. from the Ukrainian Cultural Center in Los Angeles. This will be available on Fight Plus. Good friend of the show, Wiccaface Springs Eternal, will be performing at that show. So make sure if you're up or you're in Los Angeles or you're still awake wherever you are in the world, make sure you have time for GCW Emo Fight, 11:59 p.m. Ukrainian Cultural Center. And then we go to Saturday. Don't worry, there's not many more left, actually, because you got WrestleMania and everybody wants to avoid WrestleMania. So you have Saturday, April 1st, bright and early at 9:45 a.m. NXT Stand and Deliver from the Crypto.com Arena in Los Angeles. That, of course, will be available to watch on Peacock. Then you have at 11 a.m., the annual tradition here, GCW Effie's Big Gay Brunch, number 6, Los Angeles. That is in the Ukrainian Cultural Center, Los Angeles, California, of course, airing on Fight Plus. Coast to Coast Wrestling TV taping number 4, 1 p.m., Telemerica Studios, Anaheim, California. Scheduled to appear Carlito. All right. WWE WrestleMania Goes Hollywood, Saturday, 4:30 p.m., SoFi Stadium in Inglewood, California. That, of course, you can watch on Peacock. It is the Saturday show. Just so you know, if you're looking for Cody and Roman, that is going to be on Sunday. Still trying to figure out the entire cards for both of these shows, even days before they're going to happen. But if you're looking for the big show, the big match, Cody versus Roman is going to be on the Sunday WrestleMania show. GCW Gringo Locos, The World on Lucha 2, 10 p.m., Ukrainian Cultural Center, Los Angeles, California. That will be available, of course, on Fight Plus. And Circle 6, one last time, at 11 p.m. from Knucklehead Hollywood, Circle 6 Barroom Blitz. That concludes Saturday. And now, finally, Sunday. Sunday, April 2nd, Second Wrestling's Mitzvah Mania, 12:30 p.m. from Temple Beth Am in Los Angeles, California. The first ever all-Jewish WrestleMania weekend show. But that's not it on Sunday. And no, I'm not talking about WrestleMania. Coast to Coast Wrestling TV taping number 5, 1 p.m., Telemerica Studios, Anaheim, California. Scheduled to appear You think I'm just going to say Carlito, right? There's no way, right? No. Carlito is the only person announced for TV taping number 5. And then finally, WWE WrestleMania Goes to Hollywood Sunday. Watch that on Peacock. That is at 4:30 p.m. SoFi Stadium, Inglewood, California. Main event, of course, is going to be Cody versus Roman Reigns. And then you have Monday, April 3rd. That is Raw, of course, at the Crypto.com Arena from in Los Angeles. 4:30 p.m. for that one. So here's some other stuff going on throughout the weekend as well. Non-wrestling shows, like some other odds and ends events that we're going to cover here because, of course, we cover more than anybody. We gotta do it. WrestleMania Superstore, Los Angeles Convention Center, Los Angeles, California. So go and buy some shit, people. Go to the convention center and buy some stuff. Access is a thing of the past. Now you just buy stuff. Just go in, buy stuff. That's what they want out of you. Wednesday, March 29th. That's going on the entire weekend as well. So just the whole weekend, Los Angeles Convention Center. Wednesday, March 29th, Josh Barnett's Pro and Catch Wrestling Seminar, 7 p.m. from the Ukrainian Cultural Center in Los Angeles, California. Ticket details for all of these are available at voicesofwrestling.com. By the way, Not Sam a Mania with Sam Roberts, 8 p.m. from the Comedy Store in Hollywood, California. We also have Arcade Mania 2023 from Blipsy Barcade. That is going to feature Chavo Guerrero, Johnny Combat. Ugh, God. Juventud Guerrero is going to be there. He's the official DJ. So, yeah, some you're going to want to be there for that one. Blipsy Barcade, I should say. Hollywood, California, 8 p.m. Arcade Mania 2023. Thursday, March 30th, QT Marshall's Pro Wrestling Seminar, 1 p.m. from the Telemerica Studios in Anaheim, California. That's where Carlito's going to be, too. So, good chance you're going to see Carlito if you go to the Telemerica Studios. He'll probably be hanging around. Circle 6 Iron on Wrestling, 7 p.m. Knucklehead Hollywood in Hollywood, California. Not sure exactly what that is, but it's Gregory Iron the wrestler is going to be doing something. And then the Major Figure Wrestling Podcast is going to be live. It says Major Wrestling Figure Podcast Live 2000, 8 p.m., El Segundo Brewery in El Segundo, California. Of course, Matt Cardona, Brian Myers, as well as Max Caster, Colt Cabana, and Smart Mark Sterling. The annual tradition of Wale Mania continues with Wale Mania 7 from the Novo in Los Angeles, California at 8 p.m. Tickets are still available for that. And then also at 8 p.m., FTR with Dax Harwood, the podcast. You can listen to FTR Bald live at the Millennium Biltmore in Los Angeles, California at 8 p.m. on this is all on Thursday. Celebration, a magical homage to pro wrestling by Nigel McGuinness. Yes, Nigel McGuinness is doing a magic show at 8 p.m. at the Illusion Magic Lounge, Illusion Magic Lounge, Santa Monica, California. 8 p.m. for Nigel McGuinness's magic show. Hunkamania, 10:30 p.m. from the Comedy Store Belly Room in Hollywood, California. Dolph Ziggler and his brother Ryan Nemeth are going to be doing Hunkamania. Circle 6 is doing a Minoru Suzuki karaoke show at 11 p.m. From Knucklehead Hollywood in Hollywood, California. That is also on Thursday. Friday, March 31st, WrestleCon session number 1, 10 a.m., Millennium Biltmore, Los Angeles, California. I am not going to list all the names. There's too many names for me to do it. You can go to voicewrestling.com and read them all. A lot of people are going to be there. If you're still looking to get autographs, WrestleMania is doing, or WWE is doing kind of a weird thing with the autographs this year. We'll talk about that. If you're looking to get a lot of old wrestlers' autographs, you're going to want to be going to WrestleCon this year. That is where you're going to do all of that, because WrestleMania is doing individualized meet and greets, including at 2 p.m. from the Los Angeles Convention Center, WrestleMania meet and greet with Bayley. So It's Bayley will be there at 2 p.m. in the Los Angeles Convention Center. WrestleCon session number 2 at 3 p.m. on that day as well. Champion World Premiere, a brand new movie with Medusa and Natalia Class, the former Selena De La Renta, 6 p.m. Millennium Biltmore in Los Angeles, California. Circle 6 is doing Knucklehead 1 year. I don't know what that is, but 7 p.m. Knucklehead Hollywood, California. Straight out of WrestleCon, the after party variety show, 8 p.m. from the Globe Theater in Los Angeles, California. Max Caster, Mick Foley, Mickey James, Colt Cabana, and Harley Cameron will all be there. We're also going to get Pro Wrestling Road Stories uncut and uncensored at 9:30 p.m. from the Ice House in Pasadena, California. Scheduled to appear are the Berserker and the Grappler. So if you want the road stories from the Berserker and the Grappler, that's where you're going to want to do that. But you might also have a tough time pulling yourself away from this show, because Fight Capital NFT's Mania Weekend Party is happening. Yes, NFTs are still a thing to some people, and it's going to happen this weekend at WrestleMania Weekend at 10 p.m. Deja Vu on Main, Los Angeles, California. Scheduled to appear Sabu and Rob Van Dam. And then finally, The Undertaker 1 Dead Man Show, 11 p.m. from the Novo in Los Angeles, California. It's pretty late for such an old man like The Undertaker. Me too. That's going to be really late for me, and I wouldn't go to that. Couldn't catch me dead at that show. That's all I'll say. Saturday, April 1st, WrestleCon session number 3 starts out at 10 a.m. again from the Millennium Biltmore in Los Angeles. WrestleMania is doing a meet and greet with Drew McIntyre that morning at 11 a.m. Los Angeles Convention Center in Los Angeles. Then also at 11 a.m., you're going to get the WrestleMania meet and greet with Bianca Belair. That's at the Convention Center as well. The Busted Open WrestleMania party is taking place at 11 a.m. from Whiskey A Go-Go in West Hollywood, California. And then there is a WrestleMania 39 tailgate party that's taking place at the Tailgate Village in Inglewood, California as well. It's at 1:30 p.m. Tickets for that available at voicesofwrestling.com. Then if you want to meet The Undertaker, you have to do it at the WrestleMania meet and greet, 12:30 p.m. from the Los Angeles Convention Center. Then, of course, you're going to have WrestleMania, a bunch of other stuff going on. But afterwards, you're going to have Dresselmania 3 Goes Hollywood. I don't know what this is, but sure. 9 p.m. from the Millennium Biltmore in Los Angeles. Mickey James, SoCal Val, Lisa Marie Verone, and then Mick Foley. So it's 3 beautiful women, and also Mick Foley will be there. So, and then the worst possible booking of a WrestleMania meet and greet ever. Liv Morgan has got to come after WrestleMania to the Los Angeles Convention Center at 10 p.m. and do a meet and greet with fans. So get your tickets to see Ya Only Live Once at 10 p.m. post WrestleMania at the Los Angeles Convention Center. Then finally on Sunday, April 2nd, WrestleCon Session 4 starting at 10 a.m. from the Millennium Biltmore in Los Angeles. WrestleMania meet and greets Rey Mysterio at 10 a.m. Los Angeles Convention Center if you want to meet Rey Mysterio. The Mania Club WrestleMania 39 tailgate taking place on the Sunday at 11 a.m. at the top of the hub in Los Angeles, California. GCW is doing the Indie Wrestling Hall of Fame at 12 p.m. from the Millennium Biltmore in Los Angeles, California. That will be airing on Fight TV as well. It'll be on Fight Plus, I should say. And so far, Christopher Daniels, Cheerleader Melissa, Jimmy Jacobs, Mike Modest, Excalibur, and Paul London announced for that. WrestleMania 39 official tailgate party near SoFi. That's happening again, too. Tailgate Village, Inglewood, California. You can buy tickets, again, like we said, at voicesofwrestling.com. Out in the Ring movie premiere, 1:30 p.m. from the Highland 3 Theaters in Los Angeles, California. And then the nightcap is The Lapsed Fan Goes North Hollywood, 10:30 p.m. from the Comedy Chateau in North Hollywood, California. The Lapsed Fan Goes North Hollywood. Whew. Okay, that is all of them. That's everything, boys and girls. So that's it for me. Well, not really, because you're going to get a lot more hours of me talking about WrestleMania weekend, but that is it for me, just meandering endlessly for 30 minutes. Now you're going to get the rest of the preview. So again, keep in mind these were recorded throughout the last week, so some things might not be fully accurate. But again, if you have any questions, want to know anything going on, we're going to have previews, reviews, event coverage, as well as a full event schedule, and that's up right now, and it has been up for the last couple of months at voicesofwrestling.com. The biggest wrestling weekend of the year is here, so embrace it, enjoy it, have fun, and have a great WrestleMania weekend. Now enjoy our previews with various Voices of Wrestling contributors. And to get us started on this incredible journey through WrestleMania weekend and all of the shows, most of the shows, 90% of the shows we're going to talk about here over the next couple of editions here of the WrestleMania weekend preview podcast on Voices of Wrestling. It is Griffin. Griffin, how are you?
I'm great. How are you, Rich?
I'm doing well. So now, Griffin, behind the scenes, if you do not know, Griffin is a big part of all of this dumb shit of putting together the most thankless job we have every single year. I don't know why we do it, but we still do it for some reason. The WrestleMania weekend schedule and map page that we have, every single event, every single match, all the streaming information, all the events, all the cons, all the signings, all the podcasts, all the tailgates, all that dumb shit is all available at voicesofwrestling.com. And Griffin, you are the reason why those are all. So I guess thank you. I suppose it's thank you or how why I do appreciate it.
I have no life, so
join the club. Yeah, it's honestly I find the adventure fun. It's always a grind in a lot of ways. And in prior years we've had like multiple people check certain places and be like, all right, we're gonna split it up where I'll check this and you check that. You I guess either have a system or truly, like you said, have no life whatsoever, because you've done an incredible job of scouring Eventbrite pages and Facebook groups or whatever. I used to find it pretty fun. I don't know if you still find it fun after this year, but we are the original one. I mean, nobody else does it like we do at voicesofwrestling.com. So I really do appreciate that. And yeah, there's been some imposters that have come and gone, but they try, but they didn't get to ComptonMania. Okay, you can list Stand and Deliver and WrestleMania and Supercard of Honor. Cool. We got Dark Arts Entertainment Monster Mania. We got ComptonMania. We have everything. I mean, nobody's got all these other things. Tailgate Joe's, they probably list Tailgate Joe's is still happening. It's not happening anymore. It's canceled. Only we have that information here at Voices of Wrestling. But Griffin, no, seriously, thank you so much for all the work putting together the schedule page this year. It's one of the busiest pages. It speaks to the fact that nobody really does it, and the indies don't really do it well, because every single year is one of the most viewed pages for Voices of Wrestling the entire year, because it gets insane amount of traffic. It's just nobody else does it as good as us. And if you actually want to know what's going on these indie shows, you're not going to find it from their websites, and you don't want to click around 400 Twitter graphics to figure it out. But we have it all listed there. So again, thank you so much for your help putting that together this year.
Yeah, no problem. It's been fun getting to see all these Eventbrite pages. You get the absolute grimiest events going on. We don't even list them. Those ones are the real ones that really stick out and you realize just how bad Mania Weekend can be.
That's true. There are you might go to our page and think, oh my God, this is like everything going on. But you have sent me a few things that you're like, I can't in good conscience put. Like one of them was seriously just like a guy inviting people to his house to like eat pizza to watch WrestleMania or something. It was really weird, and we're like, this might be a front for like a child abduction thing or whatever. So maybe let's not list this one. But that is true. I forget that there are somehow, some way, even grimier stuff. That thankfully it did not make it fully to our page. But don't worry, there is enough grimy stuff for us to talk about here. So Griffin, you are going to help us preview a bunch of shows throughout the weekend. We're going to start right out of the gates Wednesday, March 29th. And yes, this year WrestleMania weekend is stacked on Wednesday and stacked on Thursday. It is WrestleMania week at this point. I still, as a habit, call it WrestleMania weekend, but now we have, multiple shows. Not exactly shows that I'm like, making sure that my flight gets in ahead of time on. But if you're in Los Angeles by Wednesday, if you want to watch stuff on Wednesday, it's I guess is going to present some interesting cards up and down the show. But we'll start off with what is going to be, as far as we know, the second main WrestleMania weekend show, and it's Pandemonium Pro Wrestling TV Volume 4, The Best Damn Thing, that is taking place at 5 p.m. From Don Quixote's in Los Angeles, California. Again, it's March 29th, Wednesday at 5 p.m. Pacific time, Don Quixote, Los Angeles, California. Pandemonium Pro Wrestling TV. Griffin, what can you tell us about Pandemonium Pro Wrestling?
They are a promotion out in California, I believe. I think it's booked by Kid Bandit, who obviously has a lot of bookings this Mania week. I couldn't tell you much more about that. I haven't really watched their TV show. I think they tape in batches, so this is a TV taping, but it's also a single event that will be aired on IWTV at some point. So who really knows? With
Who really knows is a great way to put it. Yeah, it's not live, which is interesting. So they're going to do, because there is a lot of other stuff, but IWTV does not really have a presence on the WrestleMania weekend this year. They did a couple years ago. This year they're pretty much sitting it out. So yeah, it is not live, but it will eventually make it there. So unless you're in Los Angeles, you're probably not going to be able to watch this at the time. And now, what I will say about this show is it's got talent. There is a lot of wrestlers on this show. There's a lot of name wrestlers on this show. Now, the problem is it's happening on Wednesday, at 5 p.m., which seems like a big ask for a lot of people that are going to be staying there the entire weekend. You got to be getting in then. I mean, if it's at 5 p.m., you're either getting in the morning of, if you're traveling, or, if you're a Los Angeles area fan, it's like, 5 p.m. on a Wednesday, not exactly the best time if you work in an office or you have a normal job or whatever. So it's interesting. I'm very curious how it does in terms of drawing and how many people are actually watching it, because when we run down the talent on the show, I mean, you have what looks to be probably the main event, or at least one of the top matches, Johnny Hollywood. Johnny, Johnny, whatever, fucking Johnny, insert promotion here. You know who it is, John Morrison, whatever, versus Masha Slamovich, which is a pretty big match to kick things off on a Wednesday. You got Maki Ito booked here, teaming with Kid Bandit versus now TBD and Heather Monroe. Unfortunately, just before we started recording this, I was announced that Taya Valkyrie will not be making this booking. Obviously, Taya is now in AEW for some reason, so she is not going to make this booking. So they'll hopefully replace it with somebody better. That wouldn't be too hard, but we'll see what ends up happening with that. There's a 30-person Rumble Riot. There's a lot of people booked for this show. Like, this show's not making any money, and the people booked for this are Chris Bay, Effie, Alley Catch, Dark Sheik, Juicy Finau, Billy Starks, Brogan Finley, Warhorse is there, Brooke Havoc is there, Sandra Moon is there, Robert Martyr, PJ Black. I can't imagine PJ Black works for a hot dog and a handshake. Like, just in that battle royal alone, I'm not sure they're making their money back on this show. But so far of the matches I've sort of mentioned, what has stood out to you about Pandemonium Pro? And do you kind of have the same questions that I do of like, how is this going to do on Wednesday at 5 p.m.?
Yeah, I have that same question. I don't know how many people are going to attend this show. There might be more people in the Rumble Riot than there is in the seats.
That is the thing to watch for sure. Yeah, seats versus Rumble Riot.
Yeah, and that Rumble Riot, those rules are are very interesting. I've never seen this take on a Royal Rumble before. Hopefully it goes well. I'm not sure if it will, but we'll see.
Yeah, let me get those. Let me get those
IWTV.
fired up for people that do not know about the. All right. The rules of the riot, and they're long, so strap in here. All right. All right. The competitor who manages to outlast 29 other competitors will become the champion. Okay, that makes sense. We got that. If a competitor, not wrestler, just say wrestlers, but if a competitor goes over the top rope and both their feet touch the ground, they're eliminated. Okay. That's fine. The final two participants can only eliminate each other by pinfall or submission. So, okay, that's fine. You get to the final two, and now it turns into a normal match. The match starts with 4 competitors. Okay, we're starting to get a little weird, but that's fine. 4, okay. Every 90 seconds, a new competitor enters the riot. Anyway, this match is going to take forever, by the way. 90 seconds between entrants. Just want to do the math there. That's going to be a little bit. I don't know if people really want to watch that match for that long. A competitor must enter the ring within 90 seconds after they announce. If they fail to get into the ring before then, they are eliminated. So no fucking around. You got to get in that ring and participate. And now things get very interesting here. Okay, try to follow. A tag team may enter the riot as one unit. They will then be treated as one competitor. If one of them is eliminated, then both individuals are eliminated. If both individuals end up as the final two, they are crowned co-champions. That leads me to believe that a tag team is winning this thing, right?
Oh, I think so, but why would they say the final two participants can only eliminate each other by pinfall or submission?
Yeah, I just think that whole last part is added on to like have a tag team win this and be like, haha, look who, it's a tag team and they're the coach. It's very strange. Yeah, I don't know. It feels like they did all the rules before and then they booked like, Effie and Alley Catch and we're like, shit, that'd be kind of cool if they were the co-champions. Let's make it where you enter as a unit. So it's very strange, but there you go. Those are the rules for the Rumble riot. I guess not that weird, but the tag team rule is definitely pretty strange. But there you go. That is Pandemonium Pro. They do say, on March 12th, it said that front row and second row is sold out. Balcony seats are selling fast, apparently. So how fast? I guess we'll find out on Wednesday, the 29th. But I'm trying to look real quick at some of the other matches on the show. You do have a TV Championship #1 contenders match. Matt Vandegrift, Jack Evans. Jack Evans, he's not working for peanuts. Yuya Uemura. Like, again, this guy probably nets a pretty penny. And then Adam Brooks will also be in that match. So, again, there's a lot of name talent, a lot of good talent on the show, but I just have no expectations whatsoever going in. We have Most Violence, which is Funny Bone and Drexel versus Doomfly of Eli Everfly and Delilah Doom. And then the Gen Z Championship #1 contender match, Jack Hartwheel, again, probably not booked for peanuts, versus Andrew Abbott, who I know definitely is not booked for peanuts. So, Griffin, what do you make of this card? Like, is this something you're actually looking forward to watching, or do you think that it's just going to be a disaster in all senses?
I think the best match of the show is going to be on the pre-show, and that's that Jack Cartwheel Andrew Everett match. The rest of the show, I'm not looking forward to it really. I might check out the Rumble Riot just to see what happens in there. Johnny Last Name is not going to make me watch. You got Simon Miller from What Culture Wrestling in there. It's not really a draw for me. I might see Brick Shithouse Jack Evans. I might watch his match.
Oh yeah, he's a beef boy now, which is pretty. It's like I'd say that #1 contendership match I do think would be pretty cool. I mean, I kind of over like scramble or 4-way matches or whatever, but that one looks okay. And then the 30-person Rumble Riot, if they were gonna do like 20-second intervals or 30-second intervals, I'd be like, all right, that's kind of cool. 90-second intervals, though, man, it's going to be a very long match, and it feels like it's going to definitely overstay its welcome. They took the clusterfuck and decided, yeah, you know what, that's a good. And like most people, like the clusterfuck is, the traditional Joey Janela Spring Break clusterfuck has its charm, but by and large, is just like not that fun to watch like live. Like you think it's cool and then you're watching and you're like, all right, I kind of get the joke and I'm ready for this to be over. And it usually then lasts like another 25 minutes after you decided it's over. And they've decided to take that approach. So I don't know if that's the best idea, but that is Pandemonium Pro Wrestling TV Volume 4, Best Damn Thing, again, 5 p.m. Pacific time from Don Quixote in Los Angeles, California. All right, now we are going to move on We're going to go 8 p.m. here. So you can do both of these. You can go to both of these. Traffic might be an issue, but, that's it's not your problem. You'll figure it out. Also, Wednesday, March 29th, at Whiskey A Go-Go in Hollywood, California, it is MicroMania Midget Wrestling. Griffin, what do you have in store for MicroMania Midget Wrestling?
Oh, this one should be a lot of fun. I don't think it's streaming. I wish it was. I would watch it.
Yeah, unfortunately, we have not found that out yet. Like, the poster seems to indicate that it will not be streaming. So,
yeah, I don't think MicroMania streams or airs any of their shows. I might try to look at their YouTube afterwards. But this card, man, it's an experience. You might have the worst match of the weekend, and then you also have a match 24 years in the making. So you've got a little bit of everything, and it's a 3-match card.
Yeah. Yeah, it's nice and brief here. You got a musical performance by Gutter Katie. So you're obviously going to want to get there to Whiskey A Go-Go for that. And apparently that musical performance is featuring Frankie Kazarian. Excuse me? Please explain.
AEW star Frankie Kazarian.
Yeah, is going to be doing a musical performance with Gutter Katie. Is that I'm reading I'm not making any of that up. You're not making any of that up. That is all true, right?
Yeah, Frankie Kazarian's Gutter Candy, yeah.
Okay. And then we have Max Mini versus Octagoncito. Now I'm in. Max Mini rocked in 1997. I'm sure Max Mini's probably slowed down a little bit since then. Octagoncito. I mean, these are legends of Super Astros of WWF. The WWF Minis revolution that they had for like 6 or 7 months or whatever. This is a big time matchup here. I mean, this is one of the bigger matchups of the weekend in my mind. Max Mini, Octagoncito. I mean, this is big time stuff here.
It is.
And then, like you said, a match many, many, many years in the making. It's 50 Cent versus Ja Rule. Now, that's a huge... mini 50 Cent versus mini Ja Rule. Okay, sorry. That's not... Okay. Well, that's less as anticipated, but actually in some ways more anticipated to see. First off, what do mini 50 Cent and mini Ja Rule look like? And how many people attending the show even remember the very famed 50 Cent Ja Rule? Now, Griffin, how old are you?
I'm 23, turning 24 in July.
Do you remember anything? How old were you when 50 Cent and Ja Rule beefed?
So I looked it up earlier today, doing my research for this show.
The fact that you had to look it up is probably not good, but go on. Carry on.
They started beefing before I was born.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Oh boy. Well, yeah. That's so. I don't know if 2023 was the year to pounce on the 50 Cent Ja Rule beef and try to capitalize on that. But you know what? The rules are thrown out for MicroMania Midget Wrestling Wednesday, March 29th, 8 p.m. at Whiskey A Go-Go in Hollywood, California. Also scheduled to appear, but do not have matches yet, even though it just feels like that should be the matchup. Bridget the Midget versus Tiffany Payne. Feels like just book them against each other, but as of right now, they have not done that. Maybe they haven't hammered out the contract details quite yet. Tiffany Payne, wants a few assurances before she officially books the match. And then the match that I believe you were referring to here is a match that could be absolutely brutal. Candy Girl versus Jazzy Yang.
Yep, that's the one. That match, I don't think it'll be good. I think that match will be horrible, and I think it's a good thing they're not streaming the show live, because Twitter would have a lot of fun during that match. Yeah,
that could be that's definitely a brutal one. So there you go. It's a very strange show, but that is the type of one where if you did get in a little bit early, you had time, you were getting in on Wednesday to get ready to go to all the Thursday shows or whatever, and you arrived to Los Angeles early, and go to Whiskey A Go-Go, watch mini 50 Cent versus mini Ja Rule. That sounds kind of fun. I could definitely buy getting excited about that one. But that is MicroMania Midget Wrestling, again, Whiskey A Go-Go, Wednesday, March 29th, 8 p.m. For that. So now we move on to Thursday, March 30th here with a couple of shows we want to talk about. Right out of the gates at 11 a.m., tied with Santino Brothers' California Love as the two earliest shows to take place on Thursday, March 30th, again, Pacific time. From Knucklehead, Hollywood, it is Oh, sorry. This is from the famous Florence Arena. My apologies. The famous Florence Arena in Los Angeles, California. It's Crimson Crown Wrestling, Crimson Kingdom. And now, Griffin, you've done the research on this. You've seen what's going on here. What is Crimson Crown Wrestling, and why are they running as many times? I mean, they seem to be running a bunch of times this weekend, and it's like, I guess it's just 2, but it just kind of seems like with everything going on this weekend, I know that this is probably like their area and they want to be, but it just seems like they're kind of out of place here on a very, very loaded Thursday.
Yeah, I think Crimson Crown is a local indie. Crimson Kingdom is going to be the regular wrestling show of the doubleheader, and then the other event is I believe it's Violent World, which is their deathmatch show. I don't think they're a deathmatch company, but I might be wrong on that. Don't quote me on that. This one is just your standard show. The deathmatch show, I think they want to do that because GCW can't do the death matches at the Collective. So they were going to be the deathmatch show in town until Circle 6 announced their, was it 30 hours?
30 hours of death matches potentially. So yeah. They've been scooped by a couple of hours. Yeah, they have 29 more hours of death match presented.
And then the other death matches that weekend are going to be happening on the East Coast. I think there's 3 promotions doing a weekend of death matches over there as well.
Yeah, so plenty going on with Crimson Crown. But here we'll talk about Crimson Kingdom at 11 a.m., like we said. It's a lot of local talent. So like if you are in the area and you want to maybe check out, you're going to see a lot of the same people over and over and over again. And maybe you want to, see some other people, see some people that you maybe have never seen before. Maybe checking out one of these shows isn't the worst idea. And Crimson Crown, for the World Heavyweight Championship, the Crimson Crown World Heavyweight title, Mike Rain defending the title against Kid Bandit, which again, plenty of Kid Bandit potential throughout this weekend. You also have on this one as well the Supreme Violence Deathmatch, like you said, Drexel, the Homicidal Artist versus Neil Diamond Cutter. The Crimson Heavyweight Championship #1 contenders 4-way, Funny Bone, Anthony Rivera, Crescendo, and Robbie Phoenix. So there's a lot of people that I'm like, man, I don't know who these people are, but I guess that's kind of exciting, right? Like that you do kind of also want people that you've never seen or heard from before. There's some charm to that.
Yeah, definitely. You might find a new favorite wrestler at Crimson Kingdom.
Yeah. I mean, the chances, maybe not super likely, but definitely a potential there. You have Dave Dutra, the BOTW Heavyweight Championship. A lot of titles here in Crimson Crown Wrestling. Dave Dutra defending against Mike James and Fern Owens. So, again, people that I've just never heard of, never seen before. But I guess there is a certain charm to that for sure. Anything that you're particularly looking forward to on this Crimson Kingdom or anything that stands out to you?
The Drexel versus Neil Diamond Cutter match might be good. Nothing else on the card really excites me. There's a guy named Rex Disaster booked for the show. That's
which is just an incredible 2001 1997 indie wrestler, Rex Disaster. It's just great. Because those names don't exist anymore in wrestling, but I guess at Crimson Crown Wrestling and at Crimson Kingdom they will. Rex Disaster. I love it absolutely. But all right, let's get to the highlight of this weekend. At least to you and I don't know if anybody else finds this to be the highlight of their weekend. It is on Thursday, March 30th at now. We've tried. Trust us. Griffin, we have had many discussions about this, trying to figure out where exactly this show is taking place from. The address given on all the posters and all the other things takes us to this one location, and as far as we know, it's happening at this location. Now, is it happening in the parking lot? Is it happening at a building next to it? Or is it actually happening in this place of business? We do not know, but Thursday, March 30th, 6 p.m. in Compton, California, lovely this time of year, Compton, California, at Can-Am Dental. Right? What have we done to confirm that this is taking place at Can-Am Dental?
So I've looked at the posters. I've put the address in Google Maps multiple times just to see if I was going crazy or not. It does indeed tell us that the show is happening at Can-Am Dental. I think it's in the parking lot right next door. I can't confirm. So this might be happening in the dentist's office.
Who knows? Yeah, it could be Dr. Britt Baker and Swole could be there, continuing their dentist match or whatever, the Doctor Will See You match or whatever the hell that thing was, the absolutely atrocious match was called. It could be just a perfect through line from that match to here. But yeah, as far as we know, is it taking place in the parking lot? Is it taking place at a bounce house next to Can? Who knows? But show up to Can-Am Dental in Compton, California on Thursday, March 30th, and you'll probably be able to find ComptonMania, Where You From? 2023, Compton versus the world. Oh, baby, let's go. All right. You have on this show Paul London. Yes, that Paul London, right? Griffin, can we confirm that Paul London?
It is that Paul London. I have no clue what the hell he's doing on the show.
Maybe he had a dentist appointment.
That Paul London is going to be there.
He had like a dentist appointment, and they're like, we're doing a wrestling show. I was like, all right, yeah, sure. Why not? Well, he's got a huge matchup here against Hellman Rose Crown.
Yes, he's wrestling Hellman Rose Crown.
Yeah. Yep. That is the guy that Paul London will absolutely be facing on ComptonMania.
Yeah.
Where are you from? 2023, Compton versus the world. Team ComptonMania, Silo Greaves, Rilla Wolf, Trevico, Auntie Heidi, and AJ Mana versus Team The World. Sean Black, Vito Fratelli, Project West, Inferno Abdul Kader, and Taylor Adams. What can you tell us about Team ComptonMania versus Team The World, the namesake of this very show?
Yes, so this match might be my most anticipated match of WrestleMania weekend. The build to this match has been absolutely insane. Shiloh and Auntie Heidi, no relation to Uncle Howdy, broke into Sean Black's home in the build to this match. They stole a few things like a lantern. That was like the only thing he had in his house. And then they woke him up. So the big drama with that is that they traded some of the worst worked punches I have ever seen. And this match is just ready to go. Team ComptonMania really wants to defend their home turf against Team World, which Team World consists of wrestlers from other wrestling promotions in the area. So it's not really Team World. But Vito Fratelli is representing Italy. That's all I know.
I don't know. I'm not going to ask you to go into Vito Fratelli's ancestry.com and log in or whatever. But is my man just like an Italian guy from California that's representing Italy, or what are we doing here? Is this man actually?
I don't know. I think he's just an Italian guy.
Right, well,
I think he's just an Italian guy from California.
Yeah, well, fair enough.
But he is representing Italy.
Okay.
At Where Are You From? 2023 Compton versus the World.
Fantastic. There you go. That's his. So, yeah, this is an incredible show. Tag team title is going to be on the line here. Rock and Rodeo Express, Rex Calhoun and TMD defending the titles against the very, very tough teams of Smoke Signals, Jose Hendricks, and Wyatt Two Shadows, as well as the Doom Gods with the M in Doom capitalized and the Z in Gods capitalized. It is Doom with the D and the M capitalized, and the God King, G capitalized and D capitalized, and King, K capitalized and G capitalized, versus CSJ and Alan Breeze. Can you tell us anything about any of these teams? Rock and Rodeo Express, Smoke Signals, the Doom Gods, or CSJ and Alan Breeze?
I can't really. I could not find much about.
Nobody invaded anyone's houses in this match that we know.
There's no home invasions here.
Well, yeah. How can you even build a wrestling match if there's no home invasions?
I know, right?
Like NXT has it right. NXT's got it right.
Question mark.
Right.
Yeah, this is ComptonMania. Where are you from? Question mark. 2023 Compton versus the World. You need storylines going into this show.
I mean, if you want people to drive to Compton on Thursday night, then yeah, you got to give them some. You got to put some meat on the bones here. And luckily, Team ComptonMania versus Team of the World did do that as well. The Compton Boulevard Championship will be on the line. Sad Boy defending the coveted Compton Boulevard title against Jay Steins, Manny Mars, Ruben Iglesias, PJ Lawyer. I don't know how to pronounce it. Who cares? And MMJ. Do you know who any of these men are? I'd like to learn a little bit more about Sad Boy.
I do not.
Is he emo rap? Is he like an emo rap guy? What is like is a Juice World cosplayer? Like what is Sad Boy? I'm very curious, but I guess I'll find out. So this is, as far as we know, not streaming or anything, right?
Yeah, I don't think it's streaming. I wish it was. I do really want to see this Team ComptonMania versus Team World match.
Yeah, I hope. Yeah, it's I will say tickets pretty cheap. It is $15 to get in there, so that's pretty cool. And I have seen throughout the posters that they've had is like they'll attach countries to all these people. Like, I don't know if they're from these countries, but like every time I've seen it, like Jay Steins, I saw the poster for that earlier, and it's like Italy, it's Ireland, and I'm like, is he actually from Ireland, or is he just like an Irish guy? It's like, yeah, you're representing. But you know what? Hey, I love it. I love it. $15 for adults, $5 for kids. You will not find a better value WrestleMania weekend. But they are on YouTube at ComptonMania, as well as Facebook and Instagram. So if there is any streaming information that does come out, that's where you will find it. But it does not look like it'll make it there initially on streaming. You won't be able to stream this live, but hopefully it does pop up at some time very near future. Because this is a show I gotta watch this. I gotta watch this. And to your point, again, if people are like, oh, this isn't taking place at the dentist's office, I will say that when you go to Eventbrite and you click the link from ComptonMania's actual Instagram account and it takes you to the Eventbrite page, it says location 821 West Rosecrans Avenue, Compton, California, Can-Am Dental. Okay? So it's not just us being obtuse. It says Can-Am Dental. So you know what? Show up to Can-Am Dental, look around. You'll probably find Paul London, and then just follow Paul London, and there you go. You're at ComptonMania.
Yep.
Where are you at? Question mark. 2023. Compton versus the world. So cannot wait for this show. It looks like they do a lot of outdoor shows, so perhaps it's just in the parking lot. But again, we're holding on the hope that you walk in and it's actual dentist office. You got to check in at the front desk, and then they like escort you to the back, where in one of the operating rooms is Paul London versus Hellman Rose Crown. But there you go. All right, so we're moving on. Also on Thursday, March 30th. Now, you cannot do both these shows at the same time, I don't think. You cannot get from San Gabriel, California to Compton, California in enough time to, I believe, check out both these shows. So you're going to have to make the tough choice if you're in Los Angeles, whether you go to ComptonMania, where are you from, 2023, Compton versus the world, or if you go to the Empire Wrestling Federation and Los Angeles Wrestling's Jake the Snake Roberts Flirting with Venom show from the Sheridan in San Gabriel. Does the Sheridan know this is happening? Like, what did the Sheridan sign up for here? Do they even have any idea that Flirting with Venom is showing up to one of their ballrooms or whatever in the Sheridan? What have you learned here about the Sheridan? It looks like a pretty nice hotel too, and everything I've seen. So
yeah, it does. It looks like a really nice hotel. I don't know why the fake Jake the Snake Roberts produce show is happening there, but I'm down with it. This has a very interesting card.
Yeah, that's a way to put it. Yeah.
Did you see the press release for the main event?
I do not. No. Do you have the press release with you?
I do. I can send it your way, or I can just
whichever you would prefer. If you want to read it, you can read it. I can read it. We will definitely.
I'll send it your way so you can read it. I think you have a really good Russian accent. So.
Well, I know one of the men that's in this match, so we will see. But all right, let's do this. This is from Eventbrite. All right. Okay. Oh boy. The headline for this press release for Jake the Snake Roberts Flirting with Venom is abusive Russian to face pro wrestling legend. What's funny, what's ironic is the abusive one is not the Russian, but anyway, Moscow's legend destroyer Vladimir Kozlov, you know who he is, began competing in Greco-Roman wrestling at age 6. A series of impressive victories in Germany, Poland, and Georgia led to major competition in the U.S. And he says here, quote, and I do not have a good Russian accent, so I'm not even going to try. My great superior accomplishments, not enough. The braggadocious Russian wrestler told us at today's press conference. Now I defeat every living wrestling legend. So there you go. Moskavy, I don't know how to pronounce it, is scheduled to face former world heavyweight wrestling champion Alberto Del Rio, parentheses, Alberto El Patron, on March 30th at the San Gabriel Sheridan Hotel. Del Rio, who also has a background in Greco-Roman wrestling, will be accompanied by his personal, internationally known ring announcer, Ricardo Rodriguez. In Kozlov's corner, I'm just going to call him Kozlov from here out, will be his manager, Sheikh Muhammad from Gaza, Palestine. No stranger to controversy. Sheikh moved to Iraq, quote, to help in 2003 when, in his words, quote, the U.S. attacked for no reason. He also insists that Iraq won the war and claims now to teach truth at California mosques. This is getting very uncomfortable. Here, Igor also be in my corner, said Kozlov. He is Sheik's slave. Cost 10,000 Russian rubles. What is happening? Why are you making me read this? Kozlov emphatically stated, all the world hate Russia because they are jealous of us. No force in all of the world can beat us. Asked what the fans can expect on March 30th, he forcefully answered, victory. Just like when we beat Warlord and the Barbarian and all others. Also in honor of personal hero, best wrestler ever, Nikolai Volkov, we sing Russian national anthem. Make sure everybody stand. Mission, he continued, is to destroy and humiliate every possible wrestling legend and demonstrate Russian superiority. On March 30th, I destroy best Mexican wrestler ever, Alberto Del Rio. If you're wondering, you're like, oh, who's he? El Santos? No, it's not El Santo. It's apparently Alberto Del Rio. If Jake Snake get in the way, we crush him too. Wow.
Yeah, that's the story. That's how you build a match in 2023.
So Alberto Del Rio is like the babyface coming in this match, right? Like,
yes.
Okay.
Yes. Alberto Del Rio is the babyface.
Yeah, that's an odd way to book things in 2023, but the abusive Russian versus, the abusive Mexican. A main event anywhere in the world, but especially at the Sheraton in San Gabriel. Good Lord. Also on this amazing show here, Chris Masters versus Sin Bodhi, Black Destiny versus Ray Leone, Jamie Holly versus Anthony Idol, Super Beetle and Michael Hopkins versus Beef, all caps Candy, Flex McCallahan and Richie Slade, Mike D. Vecchio versus Brandon Gatson, and the Snake Pit Battle Royal. Thank God, another Battle Royal on WrestleMania weekend. This is a very, very bizarre show. What is this? And Vladimir. So this isn't Vladimir Kozlov, right? I kept calling it Vladimir Kozlov, and it's not actually Vladimir Kozlov. Sorry,
this is some random guy, Vladimir Moskayev, whatever his last name is. It's just some random guy.
Well, I apologize for putting people were getting their hopes up that Impact Wrestling star Vladimir Kozlov was showing up. No, that is not actually the case. So it's just some Russian guy versus Alberto Del Rio, and also Sin Bodhi versus Chris Masters, and you got the Snake Pit Battle Royal, which again, pinfall, submission, or being thrown over the top rope will get you eliminated from the Snake Pit Battle Royal. So. That is Jake the Snake's Flirting with Venom, a collaboration of Empire Wrestling Federation and the Los Angeles Wrestling Company as well. So this is bizarre, to say the least. Anything that you're looking forward to from this show? Anything got you excited about Jake the Snake's Flirting with Venom?
Well, other than the main event, I'm not looking forward to that. Mike D. Vecchio just did the 16 Carat tournament. He has a really good look, and I think he's a pretty good wrestler, so I'm not sure why he's slumming it up on this undercard. But I guess if it's an opportunity to see him in Los Angeles, and if you're a really big fan, you can go pay $45 to watch the show.
Well, they do say on this Eventbrite, they do give you a pretty good sell job here, which I guess I did not do. It says here, quote, seriously, where else can you meet? And it starts with seriously, by the way. Seriously, where else can you meet Jake Roberts, Chris Masters, Sin Bodhi, and Alberto Del Rio, as well as the other legends and stars in person, take a photo with them, and have that experience included in the low VIP ticket price. Meet them, thank them, let them know how important they are to you. They will appreciate the kind words, and you will have an experience you'll remember for the rest of your life, an experience you can share with your children and grandchildren. Please don't let this opportunity pass you by. The opportunity to meet Chris Masters and Sin Bodhi live and in the flesh. Unbelievable.
Yep. Well, I mean, that is fair. I don't think Del Rio is at WrestleCon.
Yes, he's not many other places.
For good reason.
If you really want to meet Alberto Del Rio, certainly the best place to go is going to be Jake the Snake Roberts Flirting with Venom. And again, apologies. This is not Vladimir Kozlov. So if you got excited about Vladimir Kozlov versus Alberto Del Rio, please temper those expectations. It is just another guy named Vladimir. So there you go. That is on Thursday, March 30th. These shows, we should mention, ComptonMania, Where You're From, 2023, Compton versus the World, going head-to-head with a bunch of different Circle 6 shows, so not a bunch of direct competition. You do have at 4 p.m. the Mark Hitchcock Memorial Super Show, as well as Bloodsport. So you probably have to miss both of those to go to ComptonMania, but you know what? You got to make a choice. It's WrestleMania weekend. You got to make choices. I didn't see anybody invade Josh Barnett's home in the build-up to Bloodsport, so that's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying about that one, okay? The Hitchcock show, bunch of fun matches with people. Yeah, okay, cool. Who's invaded whose house? Nobody. Again, ComptonMania, there you go. Empire Wrestling, they're up against some pretty tough competition. You got New Japan and Impact's Multiverse show. DDT is also running at that exact same time. So certainly some stiff competition for Empire Wrestling and Los Angeles Wrestling. Jake the Snake Roberts flirting with Venom. But again, if you want to meet Sin Bodhi live and in the flesh, not going to be able to do that at DDT Goes to Hollywood. So there it is. And then finally, the last one we are going to do here is Friday, March 31st at 6 p.m., which, by the way, another interesting time to have a show because you got ROH Supercard of Honor going on at 4 p.m. You got SmackDown and the WWE Hall of Fame taking place at 4:45 p.m. Pacific time. You have Joey Janela's Spring Break 7. That's taking place at 8 p.m. Pacific time, and a bunch of other shows. But between all of that, in what is still, and confirm this, Griffin, still an undisclosed location. Am I correct about this?
Yes.
Okay.
It is downtown Los Angeles.
Somewhere in the very small downtown of Los Angeles, which is not a large metro area with multiple, especially of all cities to say downtown Los Angeles, because like people consider a lot of these towns that aren't even Los Angeles still part of downtown Los Angeles. So you have this giant swath of land, but somewhere in this giant swath of land will be Real Deal ResinMania at 6 p.m. TBD somewhere in Los Angeles, California. And this is, Griffin, a hell of a show. What can you tell us? Why should we be excited about Real Deal ResinMania from somewhere in downtown Los Angeles?
Oh, Real Deal Resin has everything that you need for a WrestleMania weekend show. You have matches. You have a live Hot Dabs podcast with The Godfather. You have live music by Waterboys 710.
Three Z's.
Three Z's, yep. And you also have, I think they have cookie vendors. It's not Eric Stevens. And I think they have live food too. And I think it's just going to be a party atmosphere where you go get high, watch wrestling.
There you go. You just got to figure out where is the only problem. Which, again, for a bunch of the show is supposed to be for people that want to get high and like really love getting high. So the idea that like I don't know, just somewhere in downtown Los Angeles you'll find us. So I don't know. Do you have to be? Maybe we need someone to like buy a ticket. Is it even possible to buy a ticket yes to this, or do you just show up?
It was invite only. I emailed them to try to get some information. Got nothing.
Okay.
I signed up to their mailing list, got nothing except for the card, and that is happening in downtown Los Angeles. So, yeah, I'm not sure. Maybe they don't have a venue yet. That might be the issue.
Well, plenty of time to figure that out. So, all right. So on the show, we have Gringo Loco versus Ray Leone. So Gringo Loco ahead of, hope he doesn't get too high because he's got a busy weekend to go. So hopefully he can keep the dabs to a minimum here on the show. But Gringo Loco versus Ray Leone, EWF Championship, no disqualification as well. No disqualification in this, which we're all hoping for. To finally, we're so sick of disqualifications in Anthony Idol versus Tommy Wilson matches. It's so thankful that we finally get no disqualification. Zicky Dice versus Brandon Gatson. Raunchy Rico and Black Metal versus El Vato Loco and Trailer King. Mike DeVicchio, who we mentioned a little bit earlier, versus Doble Kara. And as you mentioned, a live Hot Dabs podcast with The Godfather, which again, like, let's be honest. You can pay all that money to go see Sin Bodhi. I'd rather just like get high with The Godfather. That sounds way cooler, right? Like, if you have a choice of things to do, like, are you kidding? Go get high with The Godfather.
Yeah, definitely.
It's going to have ladies.
Listen to live music by Waterboys.
And then, of course, live music by the Waterboys 710. So can you let us know, for people that, I'm obviously well aware of the Waterboys 710, but for our uneducated audience, our old people that are listening here, what kind of music do the Waterboys 710 do?
So they are a rap group. They make rap music.
Mm-hmm.
I tried listening to some of their music. It's not that great. But they did release a new single today on YouTube called "Get High with You."
Okay.
And some people are calling that the official theme song of WrestleMania weekend.
I have heard some people say that, yeah. And it's like, this year, I off the top of my head, I can't even remember what the official song of WrestleMania is this year. So it's probably like some weekend song or something like that. I feel like they always.
It is some weekend.
Of course,
song.
yeah. I feel like they've used the weekend for like 6 years now, but keep going on. But that's not a real song, and nobody really likes the weekend anymore. I'm with you. I think that I have heard people agree with you that the Waterboys 710, Let's Get High, right? That was called it. Let's Get High. That is the official theme song of if it's not of WrestleMania, it's of WrestleMania weekend in general. So there you go. The Waterboys 710. Let's Get High. You can see them live and in the flesh at Real Deal Resin, ResinMania, Friday, March 31st at 6 p.m. from somewhere in downtown Los Angeles. So, again, a sprawling metropolitan area. So, enjoy trying to figure that out. I guess smell for the smell of marijuana, and you'll hopefully get there, or you'll just be. It's California, so you're probably just going to find like a bunch of people smoking weed. So, but anyway, maybe you can ask them, hey, do you know where Real Deal ResinMania is? And maybe they'll point you in the right direction of where the hell that show is going to take place. So there you go. That is Real Deal ResinMania. And that, Griffin, is all the shows that you wanted to help us preview. But before we let you go, anything that's standing up for you this WrestleMania weekend? What's your kind of plan of attack for how you're handling the weekend? Are you going to sit down on Wednesday and get started from there? Like, are you going to watch the whole weekend? Like, what is your plan for the weekend?
Wednesday is really early for a WrestleMania weekend show. I might watch Violence X Suffering that show there. I don't think anything else is really streaming on the Wednesday. Other than that, I plan on watching the big shows like New Japan, Ring of Honor. I don't think I'll watch WrestleMania. I do have Fight Plus, so for like $5, I get all of those GCW shows. And the collective shows, so I'll watch those. And I think I might watch some of the Circle 6 live, the 30-plus hours of death matches and gimmick shows.
Yeah, it's certainly, for people that don't know, I mean, that's just going to be on like all day, right? So it's just like you could just constantly watch. And have they said where they're streaming that from? Is that just, it's streaming free, if I remember correctly, right?
Yeah, streaming free on their website. So if you want to see Lindsay Snow's Kaiju Cannabis Cup, or Brother, Can You Spare a Dime? That's the place to be.
Yeah, for sure. There, what's good about that is, and I like that about when you and GCW or the collective did their like 24-hour show thing, was like, yeah, it's like there's a lot of stuff that I'm not going to want to watch from that, and there's a bunch of dumb stuff on there, but like also, you just put it on like in the background. You know what I mean? Like you just know that at any point during the day, you could turn on wrestling and wrestling's going to be there for you. And that's kind of cool. Like, I guess on a weekend where you're like, screw it, I'm watching wrestling all weekend. That's kind of cool to know that at any point you can turn on. Now, do you want to watch all that stuff? No, you probably not. But hey, it'll be a good in between. Hey, if nothing's on at that point, there's nothing you want to watch, throw it on in the background, do whatever. And yeah, it might be Lindsay Snow's Kaiju Cannabis Cup, but you know what? You got time until the Mark Hitchcock show. You got time until Josh Barnett's Bloodsport 9. So you know what? Screw it. Watch Lindsay Snow's Kaiju Cannabis Cup. Watch Valentine Vision. Watch Vinny Massaro's Pro Wrestling Combine. Whatever. It's going to be on, so you may as well watch it. AJ Gray's Power Hour. That's going to be a tough one. That's at like 2 p.m. the next day. So it's like all those people who have been there pretty much all day and hanging around all day. So we'll see. I'm curious how this bar is going to be able to handle, like, can they sell liquor to like 6 a.m.? Like,
I don't think it's 30 continuous hours. I think they're taking a break.
Oh, all those losers.
I'm not sure because they have some stuff on. I have it on the list here. I think they have some stuff on the Friday. Okay, Circle 6 Barroom Blitz is on Saturday. So I think there's a break between some shows, which sucks. I'd rather have 30 plus hours.
Yeah, give us the
continuous wrestling. Like that's all you need, really.
Yeah,
for this weekend.
Yeah, come on. Take a break. 30 continuous hours is what we need. So instead, they're just giving us 30 hours of wrestling, not 30 continuous hours. Which, Fair enough. Fine. He also had Minoru Suzuki doing karaoke there too. So that's also, but yeah, that is going to be up for us, Griffin. Before we bid you adieu, if you want to get your plugs out of the way, let people know where they can follow you, where they can find you. And again, hopefully everybody will take the time to thank you for all the hard work you've done putting together the WrestleMania Weekend schedule page this year. But yeah, where can they follow you? Where can they see some of your work? And yeah, what do you have coming up?
Yeah, so I write for Voices of Wrestling. I've been doing the GCW reviews lately, heading into Mania weekend and going forward as well. If you want to follow me, you can follow me on Twitter. My @ is Hollywood12. That's HOLLYWD12. I don't really know why you would follow me. I don't really post any good tweets. I don't really post at all. But you can follow me if you want. You can chat with me in the Voices of Wrestling Discord. I'm pretty active in there. Other than that, just follow me, I guess. I don't know how to close this.
No, you're good. Yeah, you're good. And keep an eye out. We're kicking around a potential podcast idea with Griffin as well. So keep an eye out for that, and when that officially gets released and announced and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, that keep an eye out for that coming in the near future. But again, Griffin, thank you so much for your help getting the WrestleMania Weekend schedule page together. You've made so many people's lives so much easier this WrestleMania weekend. Maybe one time someone will thank us for it, but this year does not seem to be the one where promotions are going to, I just like one promotion to say, hey, thanks for making it easier for people to pay us to buy tickets to watch our things live. But no, not yet. Maybe next year that'll happen. It's okay. You know what? I don't do it for them. I do it for the people. I do it for all of you. Each and every one of you is what I do it for. You people. But yeah, Griffin, thank you so much for helping everybody out with that. And yeah, this has been great. And thanks for helping us preview some of these horrific shows taking place on WrestleMania weekend. Griffin, thank you so much.
Welcome to BreezeLine, where you'll say, ta-ta T-Mobile, our home internet is just plain better. More reliable and faster because we put internet first. If there's network congestion, we won't slow your internet down like T-Mobile does to help their cell customers. And right now, you can try out a true internet experience with BreezeLine's reliable and fast fiber-powered home internet. Find your perfect speed with prices starting at $19.99 a month for 24 months. Terms and conditions apply. Go to breezeline.com to learn more.
Thanks, Rich.
And our continued look at WrestleMania Weekend 2023 in Los Angeles. We're going to get some help from Andrew Rich. Andrew, how are you?
Hey, Rich. Good to be back here once again with you. Another Mania Weekend here, covering, two real big tentpole shows of the weekend, and another show that is very near and dear to my Jewish heart. Of course, I'm referring to ComptonMania. All of my Hebrew homies in the 310 area code represent. But no, it's good to be back here, of course, and covering some big shows, some kosher shows as well with Mitzvah Mania, and it's gonna be a lot of fun.
Yeah, okay. So you don't want to talk, because we've talked about ComptonMania, but I am more than happy to discuss ComptonMania with another person if you want. We can that Hitchcock show. I mean, yeah, Negro Casas, Ultimo Dragon, yeah. But if you want me to wipe that one out and talk ComptonMania, I'm down. I will take any opportunity to discuss ComptonMania one more time. Maybe we'll do that at the end of the show. We'll do what we wanted to do here, and then if we got some extra time, we'll talk ComptonMania again, which I am not opposed to.
Not to ruin the joke here, but ComptonMania, not really my party, as they say. So I think
that you know of.
We'll stick with the.
You don't know that.
I'm just saying.
You haven't been to Can-Am Dental and found out what it's like to where you from. I mean, it is Compton versus the world, and you would represent the world in that case. So
I suppose so.
Yeah, you are advertised on the marquee. We're all advertised on the marquee. Unless you're from Compton, you're the world, baby, and they're facing you and they're ready to take you. And ComptonMania, where you're from, !2023, Compton versus the world. Like they're there. But if we have time, but let's get to the shows at hand first and foremost. And the one we're going to start out with is the Mark Hitchcock Memorial Super Show. This is WrestleCon's marquee show every single WrestleMania weekend. This year, it's Thursday, March 30th at 4 p.m. Pacific time from the Globe Theater in Los Angeles, California. Now, I'm glad we're doing this. We recorded this on the 25th, which I'm glad we're doing because we've done some previews like, the week prior, a couple days prior, whatever. This one, I'm so glad that we didn't do this like a week ago, because this card looks so much more different than it did just a couple of days ago. And it's very unfortunate what's happened. It's very unfortunate between injuries and other stuff. And this is going to continue to happen, by the way. I mean, guys are going to have trouble getting in, and flights are going to get delayed, and things are going to, hopefully this is what the show is. And it's still, I think, a really, really, really fun show. It's just losing a little bit of it's losing some of its specialness with a couple of the injuries, notably, Will Ospreay and Josh Alexander being out. But are you still excited for the Memorial Super Show before we kind of run down the card itself?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it's usually a show that every year you can rely on for at least a couple of great matches, and some great names too all throughout. And this again looking like a real Super Show sort of lineup, very much an international flavor of wrestlers from the U.S. and Japan and Australia and especially Mexico. This is, I think, a really big Lucha Libre year for them.
Yeah.
With the three-way and the six-man tag and Negro Casas and all that stuff, which, given that Rob Viper has a hand in this thing, no big shocker there. I don't think.
Yeah, they're like, hey, we don't have enough good American indie talent to book. Who should we book? And he's like, say no more, fam. And here he comes with 7 or 8 like just top tier legendary luchadors and current ones on the up, and guys that are probably that next wave coming up even after those guys. So yeah, I'm it's definitely an exciting show still from that standpoint. And yeah, injuries aside and some of the other things aside, it still does look pretty damn good. But let's go over the card here and talk about some of the matches that stand out to us. So one of the matches I think that'll be a lot of fun and a guy to kind of look forward to for the entire Mania weekend is going to be Mike Bailey. And here on the Hitchcock Super Show, he's going to be facing Shigehiro Irie. And I think that has the potential to be a pretty fun little match there, and another potential here for Mike Bailey to go back-to-back on like stealing WrestleMania weekend or stealing the show WrestleMania weekend. And this will be one of many matches Bailey's going to have with top tier talent throughout the weekend.
Yeah, last year I think he was the consensus, guy of the weekend last year, the matches with so many people. And this year again, yeah, I mean, it's Mike Bailey. You know what you're getting with him, always quality stuff. And Irie, I'm not the biggest Irie guy, but I've seen enough of him where I can be comfortable that him and Bailey can have a great match. Or at least a very good one. And there's a DDT connection between them as well and all that history. So, that should be pretty good. I mean, a lot of stuff on this card looks really good. So
It really does. Yeah. And the match that you kind of alluded to earlier, which I'm assuming has now probably been moved up to the main event or probably should be the main event. If not, is Vikingo, obviously fresh off of the Dynamite week, defending the mega title against Black Taurus and Commanders. So they get kind of the match that the ROH Super Card of Honor is going to get later in the weekend, but then they're going to add Black Taurus in there to kind of change it a little bit. So you're not getting the one-on-one of Vikingo and Commander, but I think it's pretty interesting that they are sort of sniping the Super Card of Honor match. Not all the way. You got Black Taurus there as kind of the base of this match, but I mean they're going to still be able to do some pretty spectacular stuff. I don't know if Tony Khan has to like slip some envelopes under the doors and be like, all right, leave some good stuff for me, baby. All right, come on, don't give me all the good. Like, don't give them all the goods. Let me have some stuff, because there's a real chance that they go out here and just absolutely kill it, and then they're gonna have to kill it again for Super Card of Honor. But yeah, you got to be looking forward to Vikingo versus Taurus versus Commander. I mean that just, you have to be circling that as a great match.
Oh yeah, I mean if there's anyone who could steal wrestler of the weekend from Mike Bailey, it's Vikingo. Between this match, the Commander singles match in ROH, the Speedball match himself, with Speedball himself at Spring Break. And I think he's wrestling Laredo Kid, I think.
Yes, that is the match that nobody is talking about for Mania Weekend.
Yeah,
on the World on Lucha show. Yeah,
Gringo,
which I think
Gringo Loco. Yeah.
And it's like I think people are just kind of forgetting about that match. And I remember, I was doing another segment earlier today. I forget when this will air in terms of the way the shows are going, but I was just kind of like, holy shit, I was like, I forget that match is happening. It's like, that has a chance to be better than all those matches. Laredo Kid's incredible. Like,
and they've had great matches before, too.
Yeah, exactly, so, yeah. My thing is just maybe at that point, Vikingo's just like, I'm sore. Let's grapple. Let's have a grappling match. Is that all right? Like, let's just roll. Let's get down there. I want to work on some of my holds. My headlock needs a little work. How about that? Because he's probably just going to get exhausted after all this weekend. So we'll see. That'll be, can he hold up and can he deliver every single time will be the real play here. But this should be in front of that crowd at the Globe Theater early in the weekend. I mean, this should just be absolutely spectacular.
Yeah, and you mentioned Black Taurus. I mean, we've got enough flips to go around with Commander and Vikingo, but Taurus is there to be the base.
Yeah.
And he's one of the best bases in wrestling. It's like him and Claudio are like the two guys right now who are just so better than anyone in terms of basing for lucha dudes. So that match should be quite nuts and a lot of fun, that's for sure.
Absolutely. Well, a match that's going to feature a luchador, but probably look a little different, and featuring another legendary high flyer who doesn't really fly that much anymore, but that's still two legends in the match. Great booking here. Ultimo Dragon versus Negro Casas. I mean, that's a cool match. No matter what, that's just a cool as hell match.
Yeah, I won't be expecting a 5-star affair, I don't think, but it's a Legends match, and in front of a Mania Weekend crowd, it's going to get a lot of attention and a lot of hype, a lot of love, I'm sure. I'm just wondering, we've seen before with Ultimo how these Legends matches kind of turn to tag matches where some guys run in and it's that. Like I'm just wondering how soon will it be before this becomes Ultimo and Negro versus I don't know, Diener and Khan. Or whatever, just because it's one of those things with Ultimo. But if it's just a singles match, that'd be cool too. So yeah, that'd
be fine. But yeah. For people that don't know, Ultimo has a long tradition. He's done it a lot in recent Dragon Gate stuff. Is like he'll start a singles match, and then guys run in, and then the legends kind of help each other, and then they're like, we should team instead of fighting, and then they team, and then it is what it is. But if they just go out there and grapple, that'll be pretty fun too. But yeah, that's just a cool as hell match. Just say you were there live when Ultimo Dragon and Negro Casas, the bell rings, and those two guys are going to be in the ring together. I mean, that's cool as hell. No matter what, whatever. Mm-hmm. Whatever it ends up being, like I said, not a 5-star classic, no doubt, but whatever it ends up being will still be pretty cool. Now, this match was looking really, really cool on paper, but unfortunately, because of an injury to Josh Alexander, we now have the dreaded TBA, I believe, as of this recording. Brian Keith and Kenta versus and Tom Lawler.
Yeah, this match is a little bit of the old curse on this thing, because originally this was going to be Kenta and Brian Keith versus Tom Lawler and Davey Richards. And I thought that was pretty cool because, if you know your history, Kenta and Davey, master and protege back in the day on ROH. And then something happened to Davey Richards. Which,
Davey has retired. He went back to his home planet, so he is gone. Yes.
As I tug my collar here, so he went out. And they moved up Josh Alexander to fill this role. And then a couple days ago, I wake up one morning and I see, Josh Alexander ripped his triceps. And he's out for many, many months now. And now it's, Lawler and X versus Kenta and Brian Keith. So I don't know if Tom Lawler has some cursed tiki island in his possession somewhere that's just acting up recently, but yeah, this match is not going according to plan.
No,
so
Brian Alvarez should put himself in a bubble. I think he's teaming with Tom Lawler. I could get there in time. I don't know if they're teaming about an hour and a half away from me right now. I can get there in time and tell Chico to stop, before he even gets into the ring. No, Alvarez, no,
get out of there.
Yeah, don't do it. Maybe Tom Lawler will recruit Brian Alvarez for this match here. Brian Keith, Brian Alvarez, Kenta, Tom Lawler. I think that could work. The Chop and Roll Express versus Brian Keith and Kenta. I think that's got some solid legs to it. But
it'd be noteworthy. That's for sure. I mean, I'm sure
less good than it wouldn't be good anymore. But it would be okay.
I'm sure Kenta would love to get in his old bag of tricks there with Brian Alvarez. I don't know, but that'd be a lot of fun to see. But no, I don't know who they're going to pick. Obviously, I'm sure there's 500 people going around WrestleMania weekend that year, if we're available, I'm sure. But we'll keep an eye on it, and hopefully no one gets injured 24 hours before it happens. So
yeah, dear God. Hopefully everybody else put themselves in a bubble because we need that match to have. Because it's a really cool match, too. Brian Keith, obviously one of the best guys going, I think, on the American Indies right now against Kenta, an all-time legend. And then, like you said, the Davey Richards, inclusion was cool because of the Davey Richards Kenta thing. Even the Josh Alexander was really cool, too, because it's again, it's Tom Lawler who's does his own thing. It's Kenta, who is obviously a legend in the business. Josh Alexander, who right now is one of the best going, and Brian Keith, who's one of the best going on the indies, and at some point will move up and probably be one of the better ones in whatever company. He's going to get picked up by a company at some point in his career. I doubt he's just going to toil in the indies forever. And now it's kind of lost a little bit, but we'll see. I mean, I have all the faith in the world that WrestleCon is going to find a very, very suitable replacement, because that's just, look at the show. It's just filled with, real high level talent up and down the card. So they're going to fill it in with somebody good, but yeah, who's that going to be? I guess we'll find out. Maybe don't announce it too early, just in case somebody gets jinxed again. Just do it the day. Mystery Vortex. Just have a guy come out. You know what I mean? Just have a mystery opponent until the day of.
Get the music and get out there.
Rocky Romero and Michael Oku, another very interesting match. That's the one thing I will say about this show. It feels very unique. Like Vikingo and Taurus and Commander is like, nah, you can get that a lot of places. You can get that in not necessarily those guys, but like, that style of match that you're going to get. I mean, it still is, head and shoulders above what most people can do. But otherwise on the show, it's like, where else are you going to get Rocky Romero versus Michael Oku? So I'm glad that this show exists on WrestleMania Weekend, because this is the stuff that we need more out of WrestleMania Weekend. It's just like, what other chance are you going to have where Michael Oku and Rocky Romero are going to be in the same place? Like, just book a match like that. That's cool as hell.
Yeah, I mean, maybe Rev Pro, but as far as like, widely seen, like in America, you're not going to really be able to see anything like that, on other shows really, because Oku doesn't come over here that often. He came over for PWG, but in Bola, but yeah, I know Oku last year on this show was in that big 6-man tag that was like second best match of the show. So he also had a good match on the USA versus the World show last year against, I think it was Rich Swann, I want to say. So yeah, I mean, look, it's him and Rocky Romero. You have two good wrestlers there. I mean, it's gonna be a good match. Yeah, what do you want me to say? So yeah.
Otherwise, on this card, a great, what should be just an absolutely fucking insane 6-man tag match here. Arez, Latigo, and Toxin, who are just, if you've never seen those guys, especially Latigo and Toxin, they do stuff like, I was talking on an earlier preview, like Vikingo was like the guy a couple of years ago, maybe 5 or 6 years ago, where people were like, oh my God, look at what this guy can do. This is insane or whatever. And now he's kind of graduated. Now everybody kind of knows Vikingo and everyone is aware of him after this last week or whatever. If you weren't, now you are. Latigo and Toxin are guys that have been kind of bubbling under the surface for a couple of years as well, that just do even more crazy stuff that you've never seen before. And this is like going to be a big weekend for them. They're in a bunch of different places. And this match in particular, Arez, Latigo, and Toxin, all three just tremendous high flyers versus Aramis, Galeno Del Mal, and Ray Horus should be awesome. That should be really good. And keep an eye on Latigo and Toxin if you've never seen them before, because, again, they will blow your mind with the stuff that they do.
Yeah, Latigo and Toxin, I think they were in a West Coast Pro 6-man a few weeks ago that was getting a lot of hype. And I think I saw a clip of them doing their thing in there, which I think was pretty cool. So yeah, them and Arez and Aramis are like that group of guys underneath Vikingo, sort of came out, a little later on, as far as like an international, attention. So they're all great. Yeah. And I'll say this, keep an eye on Galeno Del Mal.
He's a big boy. You're talking about bases.
This is a match that's going to turn some heads. He in particular is going to turn some heads because he is the other son of Dr. Wagner Jr. There's El Hijo de Dr. Wagner Jr. in Noah. And then there's this guy who is, he's a big boy.
Bigger than you could ever imagine. Don't look him up. Don't look him up right now. Just wait to watch it.
He looks like an Elden Ring boss. Like he's
yes, he
huge.
Yes.
And he has that thing that lucha guys have where they can be built like fridges and yet they can move around and zip around like Masato Yoshino. It's crazy. Like Hechicero in CMLL. Like a guy like that. He's big and bulky, but he can zip around the ring. A guy like this in a match like this, he's going to stand out because he's big and he can also move. So keep an eye on him because he's gonna stand out for sure.
Oh yeah, and his ring gear is incredible too. It's got like fur and stuff. It's got like bear claws all over it. Yeah, he's an impressive man. And like you said, he is massive. He is so big. I think he's like 6'4", 6'5", and I don't know what they bill him at, but he's $3 bills. Whatever it is, it's $3 bills. I'll tell you that. He is a big boy. And yeah, but like you said, he also can move around a bunch too, which is just incredible. And yeah, just the only in Mexico can a guy be like that and just move around as smoothly and as well. Yeah. But yeah, he's a guy because I don't think he's really gotten a whole lot of. I'm trying to think if like he's ever had like a big time match that maybe a lot of people have talked about or touched on. This could be a big opportunity for him to break out and maybe a good Rob Viper. That's why you have Rob Viper in the room because he's able to identify a guy like this and say, you know what? Here's a guy who hasn't been exposed a lot, but we can do a lot with and have a really fun, have him be a fun inclusion in this match. And maybe when it's all said and done, he's going to get a shit ton of bookings all across America afterwards too, which would be really cool if he does.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know he showed up in Gleat a few months ago or a month or so ago, and everyone on Twitter was like, "Holy crap, who is this guy? He is massive." So yeah, I can imagine him in America, with that audience, just really capturing a lot of attention.
Oh, is he part of what the hell's the name of the team?
Bulk Orchestra?
Yeah, is he is he like an official Bulk Orchestra member? He should be.
I don't know what match he was part of. I can look it up right now.
Because he probably should be. Well, if Quiet Storm's a Bulk Orchestra guy, then yeah, put this guy in there. Quiet Storm's not exactly cut. He's just thick. I think thick is the bulk. Bulk, thick. We're not talking about.
What? All right. Let's see here. You had 2 matches. February 12th, Bulk Orchestra, Kazuma Sakamoto and Quiet Storm, and Galeno Del Mal.
So he's not an official. They haven't given him a T-shirt yet, but
he's
maybe
not an official guy. He's more of a bannerman, like in Game of Thrones. But he teamed with the big boys, the big boy stables. So at least they're in that right direction. I think
they got their eye. Yeah. They got their eye on him as a potential new member. I love it. I enjoy it. So, and then we have a 6-man tag here: United Empire, Jeff Cobb, Kyle Fletcher, and Mark Davis versus Time Machine, Alex Shelley, Chris Sabin, and Kushida. Now that just sounds awesome. That's just like all good professional wrestlers going out there and just going to have a great professional wrestling match there. No bells and whistles, just good wrestling, and I'm here for it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, day we're recording this, it's the day after was it Sacrifice? I think.
Yeah,
the Impact show, Sacrifice. And a Time Machine had a match on the main event on that show, and it was probably the best match on the show, I'd imagine. So yeah, it's them, it's Aussie Open, it's Jeff Cobb. Again, yeah. Great wrestlers having a great wrestling match, probably, because that's what they do. They just have good matches. So I know all these guys wrestling on the Impact New Japan show later on that day, I think, or early in the day or whatever. But this should be good. Like again, this should be good.
There's also going to be a Tokyo Joshi Pro 10 person tag, but we don't know any of the competitors, so we'll see. Nope. It's like, I guess whoever's not sore after their show, it's like, all right, come on down. Or their show is, their show is the next day. So maybe it's like whoever gets in town in time, like who's ever at the hotel, whenever 10 wrestlers are in the hotel are like, all right, you're coming with us. Like, let's do this. We're having a match. So I don't know. It's interesting that we're just a couple days out and, we know the whole Tokyo Joshi crew that's going to be there because they have their live in Los Angeles show on Friday. But for whatever reason, they're just going to wait and see what ends up happening. I don't know. It's strange, but I'm fine with it. It's cool. See who comes down the ramp for the show. But that looks incredible. That looks like a really, really good show at 4 p.m. That one is on High Spots TV. So if you're going to go and watch it this weekend, it is not a part of the fight packages or anything like that. It's on High Spots TV. And I do believe tickets are still available as well if you're going to be in the Los Angeles area. But definitely looks like a show that you do not want to miss. I mean, that just all sounds really, really good to me. So excited about that one for sure. Let's get to the next show that you were talking about later in the day on Thursday, March 30th at 8 p.m. Pacific time from the Globe Theater in Los Angeles, also the Globe. So some of these guys don't have to go too far. They can just kind of chill in the back. And then it's time for New Japan and Impact's Multiverse United, Only the Strong Survive. And if the Mark Hitchcock show got decimated by injuries, this poor show, oh my God, they had so many things that just were, we had Will and Mike Bailey. We had Josh Alexander and Kushida. We had a Knockouts World Title match with, Miyu Yamashita. We had so many interesting things, and now we don't. So it's still a fun show, but yeah, we did lose like 3 really, really fun matches just in the last week, which is very sad.
Yeah, injuries, very timely injuries, which are always a lot of fun to live through. And we mentioned Alexander earlier. Yeah, Will Ospreay. He was supposed to be on the Super Show as well, but he can't make it, and stuff for this show. And I mean, it's especially bad for Alexander because he's the world champion of Impact, or he was anyway, because he was champion for like a year and he had to give up the belt. And it's those damn triceps, Rich, that keep getting torn. I don't get it.
I know it happens to the best of us. Happens to me all the time.
Every other week. Every other week, it just seems to me. Yeah, I don't know, but yeah, losing Ospreay and Mickey James as well. For this show, those are some pretty big blows. But look, as far as the Speedball Ospreay match goes, if there's anyone who can fill in, and I guess save the day for New Japan, it's Tanahashi. Like, he's the guy for that. And I don't think the match with Bailey will be as good as the Ospreay match would be, but it's still like a legit first time match ever. It's Tanahashi, it's Speedball, it's Mania Weekend. It should be a fun time regardless, I think.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. I think that's a very Super Bowl placement. Like you said, it doesn't, now you're not circling it as like, oh, this could be the match of the weekend or whatever. And it might, who knows? It still might be that, but it's just Tanahashi has such cool presence, and he's fucking Hiroshi Tanahashi. Like, what else do you have to say? And he's going to be in there with Mike Bailey. And yeah, that's just it's a cool match. So I'm glad they replaced it. I like where they went with that. I think that's a good way to replace Will Ospreay. Instead of just trying to put another guy in there as like, hey, here's almost as good of a match as you just go with like, hey, here's the star power and here's a guy that's just got presence and vibes, and that's where we're going to go instead, because there's no way we're going to be able to recreate possibly what Will and Bailey were going to be able to do. So let's go in a slightly different direction here and just go with like a legend here. I think is the right way to go about this. Elsewhere on the show, I mean, there's a lot of really, really fun stuff on this, regardless of the injuries and regardless of the matches that got changed. Like we said, there was supposed to be an Impact World title match between Josh Alexander and Kushida. That is obviously no longer happening. We'll talk about Kushida here in a second, what they're going to do with him instead. But we do have Moose versus Jeff Cobb, which does sound kind of fun. That, again, feels like a very unique, interesting match. And I'm a big fan of Moose, and Jeff Cobb's fantastic as well. So that should be pretty damn good. I mean, the only problem with Cobb is like he's going to be wrestling like a couple hours before that. So hopefully he doesn't go too crazy in that match. But it's Mania weekend. You know what I mean? Get some protein in you and some electrolytes. You'll be good to go. You'll be fine. So
he's also wrestling Kenny Omega the day before for the U.S. title on Dynamite.
Oh, Jesus, you're right. Yeah. Okay. Well, a lot of electrolytes and a lot of protein.
Yeah.
I guess.
Chug that Gatorade, buddy.
God damn, that's a hellacious 3. You know what? That's 6-man. You can just sit on the side. Let Aussie Open do all the work. Because Aussie Open's got there's like 4 other teams in this match that they're in. They got time, and they can just sit back and relax. They can relax in this match. Cobb can relax in the other match. That'll be perfect. But that is the fun. The gift and the curse of Mania weekend is you get a lot of good bookings, you get a lot of fun matches, but maybe you get too exhausted to do it. So X Division Championship match. We got Trey Miguel defending the title against Frankie Kazarian, Rich Swann, Kevin Knight, Clark Connors, and Rocky Romero. That's an interesting little match there.
Yeah, I think one of 3 multi-person matches on this show, which is quite a lot. But it's Mania weekend, and it's also Impact. They love their multi-person matches regardless. So, but yeah, there's a lot of good guys in here, and it should be a wacky little scramble going on here. So yeah.
Now a match that I'm definitely circling, not because I think it's going to be great, but just because I think these guys are just going to have a blast, and it's going to be a hell of a lot of fun. And it's a strong openweight championship match, Kenta versus Minoru Suzuki. Now, these guys are going to play the hits. We probably know what the match is going to be like, but it's still going to be fun as hell. The crowd's going to probably be going nuts. And Kenta, if Kenta's full in on like being the kind of the asshole that he's kind of become now, the fun asshole character that he's become, and Minoru Suzuki's doing, Minoru Suzuki things, I think this has a real chance to be a real fun match.
Yeah, Suzuki's going to do his American shtick and, make some fun faces and throw a bunch of forearms, and Kenta's going to be Kenta and do his shenanigans. But yeah, the American crowd, they'll eat it up regardless, I think. So yeah, it won't be a great match, per se, but it should be a fun one, especially if they, really go all in and or at least, lean into the more violence part of it later on in the match as it goes along. So
yeah, you'll get a fair amount of shtick, but I think if they buy in a little bit more to just having, at some point they're going to beat the hell out of each other too. Like you're going to get a lot of that. You're going to get the shtick, but they're probably going to slap the hell out of each other a couple times too. So it should be a blast. And Impact Tag Team titles here. Another 4 teams involved in this one. You have the Bullet Club team of Ace Austin and Chris Bay. They're the champions, defending against the Motor City Machine Guns of Alex Shelley and Chris Sabin, Aussie Open of Kyle Fletcher and Mark Davis, and TMDK of Bad Dude Tito and Shane Haste. One of Shane Haste's 2 bookings on WrestleMania weekend. He's got this match, and then he's going to be for Millennium Pro Wrestling at the Millennium Wrestling Academy for MPW Mania. So I don't know how that happened. I don't know what the hell happened or why nobody else is booking Shane Haste, but there you go. Shane Haste, one of his 2 bookings this weekend, a chance at the Impact World Tag Team titles.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know on the Sacrifice show, Ace and Bay wrestled TMDK, that combo on that show, and the Motor City Machine Guns, they're also the strong tag team champions as well. And so you got all these different kind of combinations of guys and champions going on here. So I'd imagine it's going to be TMDK taking the fall, but and Ace and Bay retaining. But yeah, like the X Division match, a whole bunch of guys in this, but it should be, a lot of fun because they're all good teams. So yeah.
We got an 8-man tag here. We got Alex Coughlin, Callahan. He's not Sammy Callahan anymore. It's just Callahan. Fred Rosser and PCO, excuse me. Alex Coughlin, Callahan, Fred Rosser, and PCO, of course, versus Team Filthy, J.R. Kratos and Tom Lawler, Eddie Edwards, and Joe Hendry. This is like they put all the names in like a dryer, like wrote them on balls and put them on like on tennis balls, put them in a dryer, and then just picked names out and said, all right, Coughlin, Callahan, Rosser, and PCO, get out there. Let's go, pals. But yeah, it's a lot of dudes. I don't know. This is a strange one. I can't tell if I'm like looking forward to this one or I'm just like, now you're just trying to get guys on this show. Like, do we really have to do this? Like, but I don't know. What do you make of this match?
Yeah, I mean, I guess it kind of plays into the whole multiverse sort of thing where there's all these different wacky combinations of teams and guys and whatnot. And it is very random. I'll say that. It is a very random collection of guys. I mean, PCO and Fred Rosser, like what
are they going to talk about?
What do those guys talk about, right? I mean, Joe Hendry and J.R. Kratos, like what do those guys talk about backstage? But yeah, I imagine it's just we need one more match and there's a bunch of guys who want to feature on the card in some way. So let's get them on here and do a 8-man tag, which they do on these every one of these New Japan USA shows anyway. There's always like a big multi-man tag going on there. So yeah, it should be fine and offensive, I suppose.
And then the four-way match, the four-way women match, like we said, there was supposed to be a Knockouts World Championship match. It was supposed to be Mickie James defending the title against Deonna Purrazzo, Giselle Shaw, and Miyu Yamashita. That's unfortunately been changed, and now we have Masha Slamovich, Deonna Purrazzo, Giselle Shaw, and Miyu Yamashita in that four-way. So now all that basically happened, Masha Slamovich replaced Mickie James, but she's not the Impact champion at this time. So I think that on paper still looks fun. I mean, I would prefer just a singles match between pretty much any of those combos. I think would be a lot of fun. Even you could split them up and whichever two versus whatever two. But they're trying to get as many people on the show. They're trying to show kind of the difference of people. But I don't know. It's hard to say what my expectations are for this match because it is a four-way, so it's always a little tricky to book that and tricky to do it, and Impact hasn't always done a great job of doing it. But I don't know. What do you make of this match? Because it's also weird too because like one of the persons, like a Tokyo Joshi Pro wrestler, has nothing to do with New Japan Pro Wrestling at all. It's really, did she like just show up and they're like, yeah, Stardom, and she's like, yeah, like sure.
I was going to mention that, yeah, because I know she's wrestling Killer Kelly on Impact. I think this week, and yeah, it's weird because she's not Bushiroad at all, not Stardom. She's Cyber Agent with Tokyo Joshi Pro. But I mean, there's been Bushiroad Cyber Agent crossover before with the New Japan Noah shows and the Junior Festival show. So it's not like two out there, but yeah, on a show that's just specifically New Japan and Impact, having someone from a completely different, conglomerate from Japan be on the show, it's a little strange, I think. But I mean, Speedball's in there and he's been mostly a DDT guy in the past. And so it's not that wild, but
yeah, it's just strange that there's not a single like Stardom, wrestler. Like if we're having this women's match, let's get someone from Stardom. But I guess that's not New Japan proper. Yeah, I guess it's fine. Like yeah, it ultimately we're thinking about this more than probably most other people. They're just like whatever, who cares, So yeah,
I think it's just a case of the Tokyo Joshi Pro crew are here already anyway. There's no Stardom people coming over here this year, so let's just use her for this and have some international flavor in that way. But yeah, that might be it. And yeah, I think from what I read, the winner of this match will face Jordan Grace at the next show at Rebellion. And if Mickie James is cleared to wrestle, she'll be in that match too in a 3-way for the title. If she isn't cleared to wrestle, they'll vacate the belt and it'll just be Jordan versus the winner of this 4-way in a singles match.
So we got some big stakes here too. So that's cool. So
there is stakes with this one.
Yeah, it's not just a match that's happening. There's a real reason and real stakes. And yeah, I would assume Masha probably wins that. I know they've been kind of building up Masha and Mickie, and she's got a bunch of shots, and maybe they're not going to do that. Maybe they're done with that. I don't know. That could go a lot of different ways. I think everyone's pretty open. All of them, I think, have a potential to win that match. Maybe Yamashita less than others, but I don't know. Maybe she's hanging around in America for a while, or like you said, you just have to bring her in for Rebellion or whatever. She can certainly do that.
I think I saw that she's going to be coming to the States on not really a permanent basis, but a longer stay soon. So she might win. I think it might be in April or May or somewhere around then. But So yeah, she could win, but I think it's more likely for someone like a Masha or a Giselle to win this thing than it is for a Miyu. But we'll see.
Yep, for sure. And then the final match we have Yuya Uemura versus Gabriel Kidd. Glad to see Gabe Kidd back. Seems like he's fully back in after having a rough period for a while. Felt like he was going to leave wrestling. Felt like he was kind of done with it. He's back in and he's looked good in the stuff that I've seen him. And this should be a pretty fun match between two New Japan Dojo guys, Yuya Uemura and Gabe Kidd.
Yeah, it's on the kickoff show, the pre-show there, and Gabe Kidd, someone I'm very high on. Same with Uemura. Good to see both those guys back. Uemura, I know he recently had an injury scare against Callahan in a match on an Impact taping, but he's okay, clearly, so it was just a scare. But this should be a really good match between two guys who will probably just beat the crap out of each other. So, yeah, it should be a lot of fun.
Yeah, sons of Shibata here, so they're just going to slap each other, drop each other on their heads, and we're all going to love it. So So there you go. That is Impact and New Japan's Multiverse United, Only the Strong Survive, a show that does feel like it lost a little bit of its luster with a couple of the matches. It doesn't feel like it has many stakes anymore. You were getting a big-time Impact World title match. You were getting Ospreay versus Mike Bailey, but I think they recovered pretty nicely, and I still think it's a really, really good show on paper. It's just missing a few of those, like, oomph matches. You know what I mean? It's like a lot of good, but not like what's the main event? Like, what are we main eventing the show with? It's obviously going to be Tanahashi and Bailey, but you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't feel like we have that just truly big time stakes match like we may have had with either Alexander and Kushida or Ospreay versus Bailey. But that's okay. We'll all survive. We'll be fine.
Yeah, I mean, at least there's a lot of good wrestlers on it anyway. So there is that, there's that comfort that you're going to see some good wrestling all throughout, I think. So yeah.
And then for the final show that we're going to preview here, we are going to skip all the way down Friday. Get out of here. Friday, March 31st. Nothing on that show. Who cares? Saturday, April 1st, WrestleMania goes to Hollywood Saturday. Who's got time for that? Stand and Deliver. Not us. No. We're going to go to Sunday, April 2nd from... I love this show on all levels, and I'm so glad you're here to help us preview this thing. It is Second Wrestling's Mitzvah Mania, 12:30 p.m. Pacific time from Temple Beth Am in Los Angeles, California. It is an all Jewish show where we have For the Culture, we've got the World on Lucha, and now we have Mitzvah Mania. I adore this show. It's so cool that this is happening.
Someone needs to make a klezmer music version of California Love for this show. Just with the.
I think you're the man. I think you just volunteered. Come on.
I think Chris Maffei could do it because he's very talented in that regard. But yeah, when I saw this on the lineup here, I think we talked. A bunch of UW people talked about, okay, what shows do you want? I'll take this. I'll take this. I'll take this. And I saw Mitzvah Mania, and John Hernandez, who was also Jewish, said, okay, either me or Andrew has to take this.
Right.
It just got to be that way. And I said, I will take Mitzvah Mania. I will answer the call as one of the chosen people to preview this show. And yeah, I mean, listen, it's everyone Jewish? I don't know. I can't confirm everyone's,
I don't know everybody. I'd assume that, but I don't know. I don't know what like the vetting process was for every single one of these people, but I guess, I mean, I would assume they are, and I guess who's ever booking this, which is Second Wrestling, is I suppose they at least had to ask or so. I don't know, because it's a unique. I mean, everybody. I mean, it looks. I'm not. I think it sure looks like they are, and they're not like. I mean, they're not hiding what this show is. Like, if you go on Twitter, it's like the Star of David. I mean, when they're announcing the show, they have everyone's name and then a Star of David next to it. There's Stars of David all over the background. Like, they've made it very clear. So I hope that they're not like, yeah, whatever. Just come on to the show. Who cares? I think we got that. I think it is indeed what it says it is.
Well, Coco Cabana's on here. That's kind of obvious right there because he's been very open about his Judaism, and Royce Isaacs is Jewish. I know. Jack Cartwheel, not a very Jewish name, that Cartwheel, I don't think. But
yeah, where did his family come from? Never seen that in any books.
Some shtetl in Poland with the Cartwheel family came from. QT Marshall, also Jewish as well. And he was Italian, but he's also Jewish. So there should be one of the more unique shows of the weekend, I think, given the roster at hand.
For sure, and Second Wrestling is a company from Chicago. I don't know who's. I don't know who's actually the money behind Second Wrestling. I wish I could figure that out exactly, because it's like, I'm just wondering what possessed them to just, and I love it. Again, like I love it, but like they just woke up one day and were like, Jewish Mania, we got to do it. Like I got it. Like I just like wakes up and it just like ding, like I got to do this. I must have an all Jewish show. And I love that it's on like, Sunday morning when there's really just not a whole lot of stuff going on. And I know that like credit to them, they did something unique and they did something interesting. And what's even better is like they got press and like the LA Times and the Jewish Journal was posting. I saw stuff about that a couple of days ago, and I was like, that's why you book like any just other random ass, here's a bunch of guys wrestling on a show. Like that's not going to get an LA Times article, but like you did something different. You did something unique and you stood out in a weekend that's just so filled with other shows. So yeah, that's congratulations to them. And apparently Gabe Sapolsky will also be in the building. So he'll be scouting the wrestlers.
Scouting there.
I will say that I love the wrestling account too, because they did also try to see if MJF was going to come in and be. And said, "Want in? Mike is yours." I don't think he said no yet, but he also has not said yes. So we'll see.
Yeah, we're missing some names here. No Goldberg, no Raven, right. No Barry Horowitz, Missy Hyatt not available, Billy Kidman, Kelly. So we're missing some names here, but we got some key names here. Again, Colt Cabana's in there, and Billy Starks, I think I guess she's Jewish too. Mm-hmm. That's pretty cool. And Royce Isaacs, like I said, and whole bunch of people. Not the most star-studded event, but if you're proud to be Jewish, you want to see some representation in wrestling, this is the show for you.
Yeah, it looks really cool. It definitely feels like a pretty cool show to have, and I think one of the things that's interesting about it too is it's a tough time. They chose Sunday afternoon, which is a good time in the sense that like nobody else is running on Sunday. Everybody is avoiding Sunday because of WrestleMania, but also they're avoiding it because people are flying home or going home or leaving the weekend. That's probably a result of like now that's why you're not going to have as much of a loaded card. It's like, hey, who's still around? Like there's probably a lot of local people that are still around, or people in the LA area, people in the California area, or the people that are just like, I couldn't get a flight till Monday, so yeah, sure, I'll work it. But I like the idea of like they're pretty much, there's two shows on Sunday. It's them. I guess there's a coast to coast TV taping in Anaheim, but I'm not even counting that. And then there's this WrestleMania show. So just congratulations to them for finding a good time, an open time, really not up against anything else. So yeah, if you're in the LA area, I don't think it's streaming as far as I could tell. I couldn't find any streaming information about this show. But yeah, it just seems like a really cool time if you're in the area, and particularly if you're Jewish. It's like, hey, yeah, you know what? Go to the show and celebrate your heritage, celebrate your religion. I think that's a lot of fun. And like you mentioned, you got Billy Starks and Brooke Havoc. That's for the Second Wrestling Championship. Jack Cartwheel versus Royce Isaacs. As you said, scheduled to appear, QT Marshall, Colt Cabana. Lisa Marie Verone, the former Victoria, will also be there as well. Brian Zane, online wrestling personality, Brian Zane is booked in a match as well. And just a bunch of other names. So some people that I've never even heard of before, which would be kind of cool to watch and maybe discover some new wrestlers that you've never seen before. So I hope this does make video at some point, but I haven't seen anything official about that just yet.
No. I did actually, Rich, through my contacts, reach out and get some exclusive scoops for the show.
Uh-oh.
I don't know if you want to...
I would love them, yes.
Get some scoops.
Scoops away.
So there will be a candlelighting ceremony before the event, as is tradition with a lot of Jewish events here. Also, the following moves are banned from the event. There will be no crucifix power bombs. There will be no cross arm breakers. There will be no Boston crabs because it's shellfish, not kosher. Also, German suplexes are allowed, but any German suplexes between 1920 and 1945 are not allowed. So very important distinction there. And one more scoop here. They are planning some future shows at synagogues, Rich. You've heard of Pancakes and Pile Drivers, right?
Yes. Yes.
Well, there are these future shows coming up here. There's Latkes and Lariats. There's Hamantashen and headlocks, and finally Sufganiot and suplexes. So looking forward to all those events. I'm sure coming to a Mania weekend or a SummerSlam weekend near you, hopefully. So yeah, there should be a lot of fun with these Mitzvah Mania shows going forward.
All joking aside, those last 3 names are pretty awesome. Like I think you should do it, or have this guy do it. He's got money apparently. Let him do it, not you. You can just...
when you give me room to craft some jokes, I'm gonna take it. All right.
I am not going to laugh at. I did laugh under my breath, but I don't know if I'm allowed to laugh at the German suplex joke. So I'm just gonna stay away from that one.
Listen, it's okay. I'm Jewish.
Right. Well, I'm German, so I don't know if it's okay. I'm very German, so. Craich is not necessarily, I'm not Mexican, I'll tell you that. So that's incredible. But oh my God, yeah, that was absolutely awesome. But that show, Mitzvah Mania, I love it. The poster says first ever Jewish Mania. Hopefully we repeat this many times again. I got from Temple, Bethlehem, Los Angeles, California. Shows at 12 p.m. Pacific time. Limited event, limited tickets still available on Eventbrite. So well, if you want to get there, and you can skip that WrestleMania. You got time, or you know what? Show up whenever you want to. Look, you're going to WrestleMania Sunday. You want to see Cody and Roman. You don't care about the other stuff. You can get there when you get there, But I'm sure they'll be done in time for you to get to Mania. So I've discovered the name of the promoter for Second Wrestling, and his name is Jeremy Fine. So, not making any assumptions, but it seems like he's probably
Well, as a Jew, I will make the assumption and say that he's probably Jewish.
Thank you. Okay, thank you for doing that, because I'm not allowed to do that, but you are very much allowed to assume that Jeremy Fine is probably.
I've known quite a few Fines at Hebrew school and summer camp over the years. So I'll just say that.
Okay, there you go. So that is Second Wrestling's Mitzvah Mania. And Andrew, that is the 3 shows we were going to cover. Anything else on this weekend that's got you either excited or interested, or anything that's got you sort of feeling excited about this WrestleMania weekend?
There's one show I have circled many times over, and that's ROH Supercard of Honor. That is the big kahuna right there between Claudio and Eddie, Joe and Mark, Vikingo Commander, we mentioned earlier, Wheeler Yuta versus Katsuyori Shibata, which, that's not even getting enough hype, I don't think, because that's crazy. And the tag team ladder match and Athena versus Yuka, it's looking like a very, very, very tasty card, and one that I'm looking forward to watching when it happens. Last year's show was great, but this one has a chance to blow it out of the water. So, Ring of Honor Supercard, that's the key one, I think, for me.
Yeah, and I've seen a lot of people preview that show, and everyone's just like, wow, that's good, and that's good, and that's good. And then, I know that a lot of people are kind of trying to stay away from spoilers, and it's interesting. Like, everyone, the whole wrestling world has decided to, be really good about ROH spoilers for some reason. They're not good about any other spoilers, but for some reason, they've been really good about ROH spoilers. And, yeah, there's one that's going to come this week, and you mentioned it right there. We'll just rip the Band-Aid off, because who cares? That the match, it's going to be Wheeler Yuta and Katsuyori Shibata for the pure title. It's like they could have booked, that show was already spectacular. They could put Wheeler Yuta versus insert anybody there, and you'd be like, oh, all right, yeah, it'll be a fun match. That insert anybody here is Katsuyori Shibata going for the pure title. That show is an embarrassment of riches. There is not another show on this weekend that's going to, I think, has any chance of coming close to what ROH Supercard of Honor. That is just such a monumentally loaded show that it just boggles my mind. And then, and even if Wheeler Yuta was in just a match with nobody and he's in there with Shibata, it's just stupid how good that match is, how good that show is going to be. Just stupid how good.
Mm-hmm.
But there you go. That is WrestleMania weekend. Andrew, before we bid you adieu, you want to get your plugs out of the way? Well, let me know where people can follow you, where they can listen to you, most importantly.
Sure. Well, you can follow me on Twitter at Andrew T. Rich, spouting off all sorts of fun little jokes, as I want to do, and some analysis here and there, of course. But mainly, you can find me on my wrestling music podcast, Music of the Mat, which is part of the beloved Voices of Wrestling podcast network, of course. It's available every other Tuesday. New episodes drop then, every other Tuesday. Available on Apple, Google Podcasts, Spotify, all the usual haunts and places. In fact, actually recently, the most recent episode was WrestleMania themed, because me and Chris Maffei reunited, got the old gang back together to do some WrestleMania live music performances from over the years. So we talked about Aretha Franklin and the DX Band and Salt and Peppa and Motorhead and Living Color and all the fun memories of Mania past. So you follow that show on Twitter at Music of the Mat, and all of my past writings, all my future writings will be at voicesofwrestling.com as well. So that's it.
Absolutely, yeah, and that I can't recommend that Music of the Mat episode enough. I mean, Chris, if you do not remember, for people that are maybe new, Chris is the original co-host of Music of the Mat, and it was Chris and Andrew for a number of episodes, and then Chris, left, and obviously Andrew's done an incredible job of keeping it together. But yeah, the chemistry between those two, I mean, it's just undeniable, and you saw it again because had you guys talked like off air at all, or was that like you hit record and that was like the first time you guys have had a conversation since? I don't like maybe you've had text conversations or whatever, but like phone or podcast conversations since then, or no?
That was the first time we spoke vocally since January 2021.
Yeah,
so
and it came like you guys were the best of friends. Yeah, it's just like, as usual, it was just like, it rolls. Yeah, and it was a really good episode, too. So if you're into WrestleMania, trying to get into that WrestleMania mood, I can't recommend Music of the Mat enough. It's all about, the live performances of music at WrestleManias, and the good and the bad, and then also the DX band, which is just a different level of bad for
its own category.
Yeah, I don't know what it is, but it's a thing for sure. So if you've never heard that, because it has been kind of deleted from history, so you may never have heard it before. You might not even know the story behind that, because WWE has smartly deleted it from history. So you're gonna get the full story on this episode, the most latest episode of Music of the Mat. So Andrew, I want to thank you so much for coming on here, helping us preview these shows, and I hope you have a fun WrestleMania weekend.
You too, Rich. Thanks.
All right, guys, we'll get you right back to the Voices of Wrestling WrestleMania Weekend Preview podcast. But before we do that, we do want to let you know a little bit about our friends at Homage. And founded in 2007, Homage turns back the clock with shout-outs to eclectic moments and personalities in sports, in music, in pop culture, and most importantly to you guys, the world of wrestling. From Billie Jean King to Larry Bird to Dude Love, their clothing tells the story of triumph, individualism, and hustle, preserving the old school while still creating new legacies. And they have a ton of stuff that I know you guys are going to like. Like I said, a great collection of WWE apparel, from t-shirts to sweatshirts to shorts, all the other good stuff. And it's not just WWE stuff as well. They have Bret Hart shirts. They have Macho Man shirts. They have Andre the Giant shirts. They have Ric Flair shirts. They have Dude Love, Big Van Vader. They got event shirts as well. You want a Legion of Doom hoodie, you can get it. You want a Four Horsemen shirt, they got it. You want a King of the Ring, whatever, they got that too. You want WrestleMania collection stuff, this is the week to get it. They have a ton of WrestleMania gear. They have old school WCW pay-per-views, WWF pay-per-views, current day WWE wrestlers, a ton of stuff available at Homage. And that's not it. If you're saying, hey, I got enough wrestling shirts, I'm good, don't worry. They got MLB, NBA, and NFL stuff, colleges. They have pop culture stuff, from 90s pop culture to amusement parks to history to national parks to The Office, Ted Lasso, Nickelodeon, MTV. All that other stuff is available right now at Homage. And all you're going to want to do is go to voicesofwrestling.com/homage. No promo codes necessary, no other stuff necessary. voicesofwrestling.com/homage. That's HOMAGE. Again, that's voicesofwrestling.com/homage. HOMAGE. Right now, they are running a sale. Buy one, get one, 40% off site-wide. So you're going to go to voicesofwrestling.com/homage, and you're going to get that buy one, get one, 40% off sale. That is available right now at voicesofwrestling.com/homage. No promo code necessary. That is site-wide, and that includes all the WWE apparel, all the wrestling apparel. All of that is going to be available. Buy one, get one, 40% off right now at voicesofwrestling.com/homage. Thank you guys for your time. Now back to the previews. All right, helping us continue to preview WrestleMania weekend in Los Angeles, it's Ewan. Ewan, how are you?
I'm good, Rich. How are you?
I'm doing well. So, yeah, we have plenty to cover here in this little segment. We're going to start off right out of the gates with DDT Goes to Hollywood. Thursday, March 30th is the time of this show, 8 p.m. The Ukrainian Cultural Center in Los Angeles. That's where all the collective stuff is going to be happening. One of the cool things about this show, I think, and one of the cool things about the entire weekend, is that this is going to be on Fight Plus. So if you are subscribed to Fight Plus, you're going to be able to get this show. So if you're buying all the collective stuff, if you're watching all the other GCW stuff, you get this show, which I think, and we could touch on this in a bit when we kind of preview the show, but did you ever see the DDT New York show when they came over for the New York WrestleMania weekend?
Yeah, I think I reviewed it for...
You may have. I was there. It was a blur. That was the 24 hours that I didn't sleep for about 29 straight hours or so. It was bad. So you may have. That show was awesome. That show was really, really, really good. And that has me very hopeful that this one is really, really good. DDT Goes to Hollywood. What do you think about DDT Goes to Hollywood? Is this a show that you are truly looking forward to as a DDT fan, or do you think that maybe that it's not as good as it could potentially be? I've seen that be passed around a little bit about this particular show.
So the show in 2019, I think, is one of my favorite shows like of all time. It's just when I think about what WrestleMania weekend could be or what it should be, it's this idea of like you go to this place and you just have a buffet of different types of wrestling that you can choose from. And DDT in 2019, they're like a traveling troupe, a traveling circus troupe, and they're putting on a show and saying, this is who we are as DDT. This is how we wrestle. This is our aesthetic. This is our style. And this is what we do. This show, it's going to be like that. Maybe a little bit, I don't know, a little bit. I wouldn't say that. I would think some of the choices of who people are wrestling, I think, aren't as DDT as they could be. So it feels a bit watered down in a way, but I think it's still going to be a great show. And there's a potential match of the weekend. Legitimate candidate for that on this show.
For sure. Yeah, no, I think there's definitely some potential. And you're absolutely right that 2019 DDT show was just like the best of. You know what I mean? They gave you everything that they could do. But, more than just the comedy stuff and that, there was like a lot of really great matches on that show too. And I left that weekend. I don't know if that ended up as my favorite show of the weekend, but it was definitely the most fun I had at a show that weekend. It was just like an absolute blast to be in that building and just... Yeah, it's just DDT at its very best. And I'm somebody who's not always 100% in on DDT, but that was a night where I was like, yeah, this company, they just get what they are better than almost any other company in the world that just is fully comfortable with this is what we are and this is what we do. And the talent is there. I mean, there is just so much good talent in DDT. And you're seeing it here on this DDT Goes to Hollywood show, too, with a match that I've circled as a bit of an underrated match that I don't think enough people are bringing up as like this could be it for the weekend. And I don't know if this is the match that you're referring to, but you get Konosuke Takeshita versus Yuki Ueno in what I'm assuming will be at or near the top of the entire show. I mean, we've seen those guys wrestle before, and it's been magic before. And Takeshita's on, is obviously bigger than he's ever been with, the being broadcasted on AEW and being broadcasted on national TV or whatever. I really think that those guys can go out there, and if they have enough time and if they have the want and if the crowd's into it, like that could be a really, really, really tremendous match and one that we talk about for the entire weekend. Was that the one you were referring to, or do you have another mystery match on the show that you think is that level?
It was actually the Pheromones match that I thought could. No,
hey, I love it. It's offended.
No, yeah, of course, it was the Takeshita versus Ueno. Yeah, and like we were just discussing before recording, like in terms of how people feel about DDT and what they are, I think Takeshita maybe has surprised a few people in AEW. At least because DDT does have this reputation of being the comedy dull wrestling promotion, but yeah, it's in reality that's just what people share in gifs. But in reality, if you do watch DDT, they do have serious matches, and yeah, there's no reason this match can't be a match of the year candidate if it gets time. So yeah, really looking forward to it.
Yeah, I've always been kind of in and out on DDT's like comedy stuff, but a lot of times when I would watch DDT regularly, it was very easy to say, you know what, if I'm not down with like the undercard stuff and like said like the pheromone stuff, and it was really easy to just kind of skip through that stuff if that's not your jam, and watch like the final couple of matches on a DDT show, particularly the main events, and those were always like high level, great wrestling matches. So yeah, I do think you're absolutely right though. But people see Giant Pandas and Dino and think, all right, well that's what that company is, and it's not it's not that, or Kota Ibushi shooting fireworks off of a truck or whatever, and that is part of their vibe for sure. That is part of their vibe. But yeah, great wrestling matches, high level wrestling matches, also part of their vibe too. And I think this is a cool opportunity maybe this weekend, especially if you're a Fight Plus member, all that sort of stuff, to just, say, hey, what is this? And then actually come away with, oh, wait, there's a lot of really, really great wrestling here on this card and at this company.
Just for the record, I really love the Giant Panda stuff as well. just for the record.
Oh yeah. No, for sure. There's a time and a place, and I go on. I ebb and flow with it. There's some times where I'm like, haha, this is great, I'm loving it. And then there's some times where like, I want to watch something, anything else in the world than DDT comedy. It's just the way, it's whatever your vibe is at that time. But like,
I think it's going to be interesting. This show, so I will normally skip quite a lot of the DDT undercard, but I think what's going to be interesting in this show is seeing how an American audience react to it and how they react to an American audience. Because I remember in 2019, when Dino came out, they got everyone to put their hand up to consent to being kissed by him, which is they don't do in Japan. So I'm just I think it's going to be. I will watch the Pheromones match here. Normally I don't. I think if you've seen one, you've seen them all. But I think it's going to be. I think in this case it will be a bit different to see how the crowd react to it. Hopefully they've put the notice out that this is. Pheromones is the real dad walks in type of act. You know what? So I think that's what I'm kind of looking forward to in a way, is just seeing how they play off the American audience, because that's going to be something quite unique here, I think.
Yeah, and I think one of the important parts of that 2019 show was that the crowd had to be like bought in and have an idea. This is what DDT is. This is kind of what they do. Sit back, enjoy it, let them do their thing. And like you said, even with Dino doing and one of my friends did. I did not put my hand up. I was like, I think I'm all right. One of my friends did put his hand up, got kissed, and also fondled as well. But not and was perfectly okay with it. You know what I mean? Because that's that's DDT, man. And when you when you say, yeah, well, let's do this. I'm worried a little bit about this crowd this year because it's this Ukrainian Cultural Center where they're running a lot of the collective stuff. And I'm a little worried that with them not being in their own building, that it might be a lot of carryover fans that were also at, earlier in that day, they were doing, the Bloodsport. It's like right after Bloodsport. You know what I mean? Like Bloodsport's going to leave and DDT is going to come in. And I'm worried that like the people that bought tickets to Bloodsport and are like, hell yeah, let's watch like, pseudo shoot fighting. Are they going to be all the way bought in on DDT? And that's going to be what I'm mostly looking for is because when the 2019 show, you had to go to that building with the idea that I'm going to watch DDT, and what was following it was Kaiju Big Battle. So it was like, you knew what you were getting that night. You know what I mean? When you went into that building that night, you were like, I'm either getting giant Kaijus wrestling or I'm getting DDT. You're probably okay with both of those. So I do worry a little bit that maybe this collective crowd isn't going to be fully bought in, isn't going to fully understand what they're saying. I hope that's not the case, though. I hope that they go in with full on, let's have a blast, let's do DDT well here, because I think it's going to make for a very important show. And I think one of the things that is going to help that, though, is booking Joey Janela on the show. Now, Joey Janela obviously has done stuff with DDT, but I think he bridges a nice gap between your normal GCW crowd, your normal American indie crowd, and the DDT crowd as well, where he's facing Endo here, Tetsuya Endo, which could also be a very, very good match if Joey Janela's got his working boots on. Now, he's got a very busy weekend, but this is one of his first big bookings of the weekend. So I do hope that he goes out there and works his ass off. And it might not be a bad idea to put this match like right at the top, just to kind of give people that gap and let people know, or that bridge, I should say, and let people know what DDT is kind of like. And just, him and Endo, I think that has the potential to be a very, very good match too.
Yeah, I agree. I've never really been into the whole GCW and Janela thing, but I did write a preview of this, and I did sort of say, like, in all honesty, I would prefer a DDT versus DDT match for Endo. But at the end of the day, Janela, he's not a bad wrestler, and I think, like you said, if he's got working boots on for this could be a good match. Yeah, I agree.
Now, one of the interesting bookings of this entire weekend to me is Higuchi, who I think is great. He's one of my favorite guys in DDT, an absolute powerhouse. You can use him in a ton of different ways. On this show, he's in a tag match, and he's going to be facing Andrew Everett and Nick Wayne, and he's teaming with Takeshi Masada. The next night, he's facing Blake Christian. It's just like in the GCW versus DDT stuff. I feel like he might be one of the more wasted DDT talents this entire weekend. What do you think about that? I think there's so much more you can do with Higuchi than what they're doing.
I was thinking, why? He used to be a sumo wrestler before he was a pro wrestler. So why hasn't Bloodsport brought him in? Like, if Bloodsport's thing is all about like sort of pseudo real martial arts, have a sumo wrestler or something like that. Maybe, I don't know. But yeah, I totally agree. And if people don't know who Higuchi is, I'd compare him in terms of like who he is for DDT to someone like Josh Alexander in Impact, in the fact that he's sort of carried the promotion last year as their top title holder. And he's like, yeah, he's a big dude, wrestles pretty strongly. And that's why a lot of people are like, why is he facing Blake Christian? Feels like a bit of a mismatch. So yeah, I've just looked on the schedule, and those are the only two matches he's doing. And it feels it. You know, we talked about this before as well. Like, there's a lot of people on the DDT roster that you kind of feel should be all over this weekend, and they're not. And I wonder if that's just because they don't want to be, and they want to just keep, they want to just sort of chill out most of the time, or is it that promoters don't want to hire them? Is there a cost thing, or is it just they don't know? People just don't know about the talent that's there? Because if you're having someone from DDT on your card, if it's like a smallish indie, you could really like liven up a show, and you can send people away happy, because people, these are really talented wrestlers. These are world-class wrestlers, really. And you see some of the people that are getting booked all over. Yeah. And you just think, what are the dynamics here? Why these wrestlers aren't getting booked more?
Yeah, absolutely. And Higuchi's a guy too that like in a small building or whatever is going to just come across, because the chops are hard, the strikes are hard, everything that he does is just impactful and loud, and like, yeah, he's the guy that immediately, it'll take one chop or one hit and one strike in the crowd to go, whoa, you know what I mean? To really kind of get like, man, this guy's a powerhouse. So you're absolutely right. Like, if I'm booking an indie, like Higuchi, if I'm there this weekend and I have the ability to book Higuchi, like, what? Of course I am. It's one of the first guys I'm going to call. And it just feels like both, even DDT isn't maybe using him to his highest powers this weekend as well. So it's a little disappointing, but it is what it is. But we do get a really cool match, I think. Jun Akiyama and Eddie Kingston versus Daisuke Sasaki and Cannon. And I love the ability to be still able to see Jun Akiyama live in the flesh. Like, I'm not going to be there, but like that would be a match and a show that I would be hard pressed to skip, just because like I don't know how many more times I'm going to be able to see Jun Akiyama live. And he's still great. Like, he's still great, even though he debuted in 1992 and was great in 1992, and he's been great every year since then. And now it's 2023, and he's still pretty damn great. So, any chance to see Jun Akiyama, you probably want to take, because you're going to see an all-time legend. And I think that's a pretty fun match there. Daisuke Sasaki's a guy who always surprises me anytime I watch him live. And Eddie Kingston, he'll be working hard, in the ring there with Akiyama. What do you think about that match?
I mean, yeah, and I think DDT have done an amazing job with Akiyama. I'm not someone who was watching him in the 90s. I was trading Michinoku Pro tapes rather than Akiyama ones. But yeah, DDT have really made him feel like a big deal, and he's kind of responded as well to DDT and got involved with some of the silliness as well. So he's not. It doesn't feel like he's there just to sort of collect a paycheck or whatever. He's really jumped with 2 feet into the promotion. So he feels like a really big part of it now, and not just sort of a veteran that's sort of hanging around. He feels this feels like a fully fledged member of the roster. I don't know. I don't watch a lot of AEW, so I still don't really get the Eddie Kingston, like why he wrestles Japanese wrestlers a lot, and it feels like, I don't know if you've like, did you ever feel like growing up that you missed a day at school and then everybody else knew something? Yeah, and that's how I kind of feel about this. And right. Sometimes that's I just don't get it, and I know he was a fan growing up.
He just wants to. It really just comes down to like he is a fan and wants to, and he's like a nerd for 90s Japanese wrestling, and that's essentially the story there. So
it's kind of like a meta gimmick.
Yes, in a way. Yes, basically.
So yeah, and I'm sure he'll be like really over in this match as well. And I guess, like you were saying with Janela and Endo, I think this might also be a match that will. I think a lot of people might even buy a ticket because Eddie Kingston's on.
Right.
Popular, right?
Yeah, you want to bridge that gap.
It'll be a good bridge. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And that's like, it's unfortunate that they probably have to do that, but I think when booking like an Eddie Kingston and a Janela is probably a good way to do that, while also still putting your core stuff up and down the show, which they really do. I mean, elsewhere on the show, there is a lot of, those are the two matches that seem most obvious of like, you know what, let's try to, this crowd might not know who these guys are, but hey, here's Eddie Kingston, here's Joey Janela, and now the rest of the card pretty much does. I mean, I guess Andrew Everett, Nick Wayne, in that tag match that we talked about earlier, but up and down the rest of the card, and I guess I'll let you kind of talk about the other matches here as somebody who watches DDT a little bit more regularly. What can we look forward to with some of the other matches on this card, particularly the women's match, the Pheromones match, and then the Mao and Katsu Matsuya match that's also, and Yoshihiko is going to be there too. So that anytime you can get a Yoshihiko appearance, that's worth the price of admission too, for sure.
Definitely. I mean, so for the women's match, Saki Akai versus Vert Vixen. So I remember you and Joe reviewing a DDT match like years ago and saying that when Saki Akai came down, it was like she is like the main character of the world, almost when she enters like an arena, and I think she's going to be over. She has a sort of a meme photo at the moment, like it's her in it's not her. I almost broke kayfabe there. Forget what I just said. Anyway, I mean, she has presence. She is like I think she was a model before she became a wrestler, maybe, or if she wasn't, she should have been.
She should have been, for sure. I think she was, but if she wasn't, she probably should have been, because she is one of the most beautiful. Like when I was at that DDT show and she walked by, it was like everybody like stood up and like looked, and it wasn't just like, wow, she's hot. It was just like, oh my god, that woman is like a painting. She's just like the most gorgeous thing we've ever holy crap, like wow.
Yeah. And then I don't really know much about Vert Vixen, but she's been she's the Defy tag champion. She's been on AEW Dark a few times, I think. So yeah, let's see.
No, she's got that present. Saki Akai has just like, when she walks in the building and she knows how to own a room. It's just like an immediate, like she walks in with presence and confidence, and you're just like, wow, yep, she's owning a room. And I think she'll do that here too. She will. Yeah. And Vert Vixen's okay. Like she's not great, but yeah, I think booking Akai in here is a very, very smart idea, because she just owns a room. She just absolutely 100% instantly owns a room. So a perfect person to book for this show. I know she got over huge in the DDT in New York show too.
Yeah, and when she arrives at the airport, there will be people will be like, oh, is that one of those wrestlers? That's what when she walks through, customs or whatever.
And she's shockingly tall too. Like I don't know what they announce her at or what they list her at, but I think she's. They say 5'9", man. I feel like she's obviously probably wearing, when I saw her, she's probably wearing giant boots or whatever, but she's very tall. And I think that kind of comes across too, where it's just like, whoa, like, look at this. Yeah. Like, she's really, really, really tall and taller than some of the men that she's in the ring with, and a lot of the men in the crowd as well. So it also kind of, you just see her. She just kind of rises above everybody. It's something to behold if you're there live.
Yeah, for sure. And then the other match that I am really looking forward to is Mao and Shunma versus Chris Brooks and Yoshihiko. And to me, this really is the most DDT match on the card, apart from maybe Takeshita and Ueno. And I mean, I'm really, really high on Shunmao. That's Mao and Shunma's tag team, I guess. I'm really, really high on them at the moment. They're really versatile. They can do any type of match, like comedy, high flying, technical. This one is a match with Chris Brooks and Yoshihiko, so I'm imagining it's going to be pretty much a comedy match. But Chris Brooks is really underrated, I think, as a wrestler, and he's very innovative. So if you want anyone teaming with Yoshihiko, I think this is definitely the right pick. Again, though, I'm really looking forward to this match. On the other hand, I'm also thinking, why are Mao and Shunma not all over WrestleMania weekend? They are, they will get over in any event. So again, they should be booked more. So you can book them in any style of match.
Right.
Shunma's a deathmatch wrestler as well. So there's plenty of that going around.
Yeah, and like you said, it's what's interesting too is that the Ukrainian Cultural Center is hosting a lot of shows. Like when you mentioned that Higuchi Bloodsport thing, I was like, yeah, what the hell are we doing? Especially right now, Bloodsport's like having a lot of issues because a bunch of guys had to pull out and guys getting hurt or whatever, and they're scrambling to find replacements. And it's like, there's a guy that's going to wrestle at that building like 2 hours later. That's be perfect for your show. But like a lot of the wrestling is happening in the same building, and a lot of these, I would love to know. I would love to know if it was just these guys deciding, nah, we're good. We're just going to do the DDT shows and keep it basic. Or the price, like you said, the price is too high or whatever. I'd love to know, and we might never know, but I will try to ask, and I'll try to figure out if there was if anybody kicked the tires on any of these DDT talents, or if they just came over and people said, who knows? Nobody knows these guys. Who cares? Whatever. But it is tremendously disappointing because you're absolutely right. That's a team that probably should be many places. Yeah, I mean the same for TJPW as well, because obviously like Maki Ito and Miyu Yamashita, probably pronounced that wrong. Obviously they are getting bookings, but then there's a whole other roster there that I don't think are booked anywhere else. Right. On the card, and they would sell tickets. I'm pretty sure that the hardcore Joshi fan base would, like, if you booked anyone from TJPW on the show, there were people would buy a ticket just for them. So yeah, I think if this becomes a regular thing though for DDT, I don't see any reason why they wouldn't just do this every year now, unless it's a real loss for them. If this is just, I don't know what you think about that. Do you think like DDT are losing money on these shows? I don't think so. I really don't. And I guess we'll see when the crowd shows up for this DDT goes to Hollywood. I really don't think so, especially in Los Angeles. You're looking at probably a much cheaper flight. If this was in New York, you might have to say, I don't know. Do we really want to fly all these people over to New York? But flying into Los Angeles and having these shows and hopefully, more than anything, it's probably a loss leader in some ways, because you want people then to say, hey, you can watch this stuff on Wrestle Universe or whatever. All the talent of Tokyo Joshi Pro and DDT is on Wrestle Universe. That it's a great marketing and advertising opportunity for them as well. So no, I really don't think that they would be losing money on this unless. This show, their merch as well. If they can get the merch situation good, exactly. Yeah, if they tell these people, and maybe that's something that they need to be better about in future years of getting booked on other shows, saying, hey, look, you guys can all make a lot more money too. Go in here and do our shows, but man, go to everything you could possibly go to, work everything you could possibly work, sell that merch everywhere you could sell it, because it's one of the biggest money making weekends for almost all indie talent. In America, there's no reason it can't be for the same thing for DDT and Tokyo Joshi Pro and all those wrestlers as well. Yeah, if they're gonna, let's say another indie company books Mao or someone, if he's gonna go to the merch stand there and take photos of people, give them a little voucher for Wrestle Universe, say like 50% off your first month to any people who come there. I wonder if next year though, if they put on a good show this year, I wonder if the promoters will get that buzz this year, and then next year, if they come again next year, then they'll actually realize, there's money to be made here by booking some of these talents. It'd be smart for sure. But that is DDT Goes to Hollywood. Looking forward to that show. It's up on it's on Thursday, so it's up against some pretty tough competition. It's got the New Japan and Impact show going on at the same time, so you kind of have to choose between those two shows. But I think this one, if you're on Fight Plus, obviously you're already paying for it, so that's a decent value right there to just turn that on. But no, I definitely a show that I will watch when the weekend is over. It's just a matter of, will I be watching it live? Will I be watching New Japan and Impact live? I'll have to figure that out on Thursday. But one of those two shows I think is really going to be the standout of Thursday night. And the Hitchcock Memorial Show is at 4 p.m., a little bit earlier in the night, and Bloodsport at 4 p.m. as well. So it's really up against the New Japan Impact. WrestleMania? What was that? Oh, that's not till Saturday. I got time. I know you're looking forward to WrestleMania. Oh, right? The WrestleMania. Oh, yeah. I can't figure Crowe Wrestling. I can't figure out what the joke is with the Russell Crowe Wrestling. But there you go. That's well, I do want to say one thing about that. So Ganbare Pro's champion, Mizuki Watase, who I assume is flying himself out because he did that in 2019. He's not on the DDT card. He is on the DDT versus GCW card, but he's managed to get himself booked on the Russell Crowe Wrestling show, a three-way match.
So I don't know why DDT seems to like just like hate him in a way. He just sort of,
it's like, I'll fly myself. It's okay. I'll be there. If you guys need me though, I'll be there. Like, yeah, we'll call you.
But he is, but no, he is actually probably my favorite champion at the moment. He's wrestling, like, just to give him a little shout out. He's doing amazing work in Gambari Pro right now. So another person that promoters, if you're listening to this, like, check him out.
Let's move on to what we're going to preview next here. It is Friday, March 31st at 4:45 p.m. Pacific time. It is SmackDown and the WWE Hall of Fame. Yes, they are combining the two into one show this year. We're doing the Hall of Fame while we're on SmackDown, which means less very, very short induction speeches. Guys talking for 2 minutes, the music playing, and them getting shooed off of the stage or whatever they're going to have. And as of right now, as of this recording, we don't have a ton else for SmackDown itself. We do have the Andre the Giant Battle Royal. Now, they used to do this on WrestleMania proper. They have now moved this to SmackDown as well. And the competitors in the Andre the Giant Battle Royal this year, Ewan, are Johnny Gargano, Xavier Woods, LA Knight, Bobby Lashley, Karrion Kross, Baron Corbin, Bronson Reed, Madcap Moss, Elias, Rick Boogs, Mustafa Ali, Dolph Ziggler, Ridge Holland, Butch, Dexter Lumis, Santos Escobar, Cruz del Toro, Joaquin Wilde, Mace, Mansoor, Carl Anderson, Luke Gallows, Shelton Benjamin, Cedric Alexander, Humberto, Angel, Ashante Adonis, and Top Dollar so far announced. So all the stars will be out there in the Andre the Giant Battle Royal.
Those are some names.
Those are certainly wrestlers that are employed by WWE. I mean,
that is Joaquin Wilde. He used to be DJZ.
Yep,
right?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
I don't know why he should be a star.
Yeah.
I used to love him
yes, he should. Yes, he is incredible and is very, very good. But he is Joaquin Wilde, guy in Andre the Giant Battle Royal. So, there you go. But that's the Andre the Giant Battle Royal. So, yeah, I don't have nothing else to really say about that. Let's talk about the Hall of Fame, though. That's got some juice to it. We have officially, as of this recording, 3 official announced inductees. There's been rumors about Stacy Keibler, but she has not been officially announced yet. So we're not going to, although there's not much we can really talk about with Stacy Keibler, but we're not going to get into that because she is not officially announced. We do have 3 people.
Miss Hancock.
Miss Hancock, yes. Yeah, hopefully she does come in with the Miss. Yeah, Miss. Yeah. Wanted to be Hancock, but standards and practices were like, come on. Can we go with a little bit less of a, they're like, fine, Hancock. They're like, all right. It's really the same thing, but it's okay. We'll let it slide here. But Hall of Fame inductees officially announced Rey Mysterio to be inducted by Conan. The problem with this induction, though, if you're looking for, hey, I can't wait to see what Rey Mysterio is going to say, is they have still not officially announced Dominic Mysterio versus Rey Mysterio for WrestleMania weekend, and that is, everybody knows that's going to be a match on WrestleMania weekend. They still haven't done it official. On this week's SmackDown, they had Dominic make fun of and berate his mom and Rey's wife, but they haven't officially done the match, so there is no doubt in my mind that Dominic runs out at some point, attacks Rey, unmasks him, does something, and that's how they're going to set up the WrestleMania match a couple days later. So if you're really looking forward to sitting down and hearing Rey Mysterio, wax poetic about his series of matches with Psychosis and ECW, probably not going to happen. So just keep that in mind if you're getting your bowl of popcorn ready for some great inductions. This is probably just going to be a storyline.
Yeah, I mean that was what I wrote down. Psychosis in ECW and Kevin Nash in WCW. Those like 2 very different matches or types of series of matches. But yeah, just sort of really covered the gamut of what wrestling is, from like sort of technical high flying ability to sort of storytelling for WCW. And what has Rey done since then that has ever matched those heights?
Hey, look, I'm with you. A lot of people loved his WWE title runs. I wasn't as on board with it.
Did he win the world title for like one day and then lost it to John Cena?
Well, he had the one title reign after WrestleMania 22. You might have forgotten because he lost every match. Like, what they did is they gave him the title, and the story is that Vince McMahon, they said, all right, he said, all right, fine, I'll give him the title, but he's losing it as soon as I can do it. And all the writers, basically, they had to write out like, all right, so Rey's gonna lose at like this, and he kept pushing it back, but then he just never had him win. And some people love that stuff because he would do this like underdog babyface champion thing, but I don't really want my champion to be like an underdog who loses all the time. I purposely prefer my champion to be a guy who deserves to be the champion. So I didn't love that stuff. A lot of people do, but I'm with you. WCW, ECW, Rey Mysterio, unmatched and absolutely belongs in this fake weird Hall of Fame that has no real standards or anything whatsoever. So
yeah, it's like when people say, "Oh, they really deserve it." It's like, well, yeah, but it's just a marketing gimmick, isn't it?
It's just whoever picks up the phone and they decide they want to call that time.
So you're saying Andy Kaufman picked up the phone? Is this the culmination to the sort of the decades-long conspiracy theory?
Dude,
he's not actually dead.
I hope that I am actually somewhat excited to see what they do here with the Andy Kaufman induction. I assume Lawler's going to be involved, but he's obviously had his health issues as of late, so not sure about him.
Jim Carrey might.
That'd be Jim Carrey as Andy Kaufman could work for sure.
Yeah.
Somebody dressed up as Tony Clifton could work. There's a lot of ways that this could go. Or like you said, Andy Kaufman comes out and was like, haha, I told you I wasn't dead. And it's like, that'd be great.
On SmackDown.
In the Crypto.com arena on Fox. It would be
you couldn't
incredible.
even get WrestleMania. Like, no. It's like, oh, I'm coming back. It's like, yeah, but you're on SmackDown. Sorry.
But then you book him for Mania. You book him. You book him for Mania. I think he has to go to jail though, because I believe you're not allowed to fake your own death. I believe that is illegal. So he can work WrestleMania against Jerry Lawler, bring the match back, and then I think he has to get arrested afterwards. But maybe not. We'll find out. But yeah, I'm fascinated by the Andy Kaufman thing. I mean, obviously, no real reason to be in the WWE Hall of Fame, but they unfortunately own most of American wrestling history. So whatever. Who cares? I mean, the other guy that's going to get inducted also has no actual WWE history, but it's fine. But the Andy Kaufman one is going to be cool to see how they do it and how they tell the story, because WWE has very routinely, underplayed how important that story was, because it was a major celebrity that did it not in the WWE. And the whole ethos of WWE is that, well, we took, wrestling out of the smoky, guard armories and stuff. And it's like, well, no, here's Memphis wrestling on David Letterman in New York. And it's like a huge story.
But in a way, that's I kind of see the logic for WWE to do this, because in a way, it's like them claiming that as part of their own. They're sort of claiming that we are wrestling and wrestling is us. So by sort of reaching back into that history and then putting Kaufman in the Hall of Fame, it's them retroactively claiming that this was our thing in a way, and the way that people who aren't really into wrestling would say, like, oh, WWE, rather than pro wrestling.
Right.
It seems to buy into that whole thing. I think Kaufman's a really interesting character. Like, he sort of came into wrestling sort of laterally, and there's sort of ways to look at wrestling as like a sort of a pseudo sport, but the way that he sort of looked at it is almost like sort of similar to stage magic in the way that you're sort of playing with reality for an audience. So I think he's quite an interesting character. But yeah, it's probably interesting how WWE will portray this.
Yeah, I'm real fascinated. But if you want to do more research on Andy Kaufman and everything about him, I mean, I definitely implore you to do that. Like, maybe this is a good opportunity to go back and watch that stuff if you've never seen it, because I think it's just tremendous stuff. I think Andy Kaufman's a genius, and I've always loved, I always loved his comedy, I should say, unless he's not dead, of course. But no, it's incredible stuff, and the stuff he did in Memphis was great, and it got offered to WWF, but at that time it was Vince Sr., and Vince Sr. was like, I'm not having this celebrity come on my show or whatever. And the story is that Bill Apter from Pro Wrestling Illustrated was like, if you want to get involved, Andy, like, I know the guys to call, I know the company to call, and that was Memphis, and they were like, hell yeah, we'll take it. So it was Jerry Jarrett and Jerry Lawler, who really, and Jimmy Hart or whatever, who really just got in and did this. And Andy was on board. I mean, it was while he was doing Taxi, while he was doing other stuff. So he had to come and go at certain times when he was available for, filming schedule wise. But he was all in. And like you said, he took it as a stage performance. He took it as but went all in on it. So much to the point where he showed up to Taxi with a neck brace. And was like, well, my character has to wear a neck brace because Andy Kaufman in real life is hurt. And they're like, Andy, come on. The guys at Taxi are like, we're not doing that. No, take the neck brace. So he eventually did that, but he bought all in. And I think the greatest story about it all is Jerry Jarrett says, I cut this guy a bunch of checks. He never once cashed any. He never cashed a single one of them. And he just did it because he wanted to do it. He just did it because he thought it'd be fun and didn't need money. Because they said that they gave him like a pretty good rate because it was Andy Kaufman. You know what I mean? It's a giant, star that wants to do your stuff. So they kept cutting him checks, kept saying, hey, you're going to cash those checks? And he goes, one soon. And he never, ever, ever cashed a single one of them. So really cool stuff there. But I'm sure Jerry didn't complain about that either. Jerry was more than happy. He wishes a lot of his other wrestlers did the same.
That was the secret. That was the business secret to the whole promotion. I mean, it's and like now we have like wrestlers doing angles on Twitter, which is probably the closest thing that we have now to that sort of commitment to the gimmick.
Yeah.
But just sounds really lame, doesn't it? To say
yeah. They're just
wrestlers doing angles on Twitter.
Yeah, and most of them just are not as good at acting or as Andy Kaufman, who even in his comedy shows would just. You never knew what you were getting with that guy ever. I mean, you would go to a stand-up show, he'd tell one joke and leave. And like some people hated him for that, and some people thought he was a genius for that sort of stuff. So your mileage may vary on Kaufman. But good opportunity to watch Man on the Moon if you've never seen that movie, and just kind of do some research about Andy Kaufman in the lead up here if you've it's been a while since you've seen his stuff. And then finally, the last induction is The Great Muta. They're not saying Keiji Muto, they're saying The Great Muta. So I'm expecting full-on face paint. I'm expecting mist being sprayed. I'm expecting... I don't think this is Keiji Muto, and I don't think they're going to be showing much All Japan or New Japan Pro Wrestling footage here. I believe this is going to be WCW's The Great Muta who will be inducted here. But I guess we'll find out what happens day of.
Yeah. This is quite another weird one. I mean, not that, obviously he is a huge star, but... He never wrestled for WWE, right?
No, never once.
No. So it seems a bit... It's a bit strange because he's just retired and obviously he wanted a match with The Rock, but couldn't... why is... What's going on here? Would you be surprised that if this is leading to Muta or the Great Muta having a match in America... as like a loophole for his retirement match that he said was in his Japanese retirement match? Or do you think this is just,
he did always keep it. He did always kind of keep it a little... I don't know. It's a wrestling retirement. I'm using retirement in the biggest air quotes possible. But you're right. He always kept it a little close to the chest of saying, it's my Japanese... I'm positive if WWE says, hey... you want a match with X or whatever, he would say yes. If anybody asked him in America, I think he would come back in an instant to have a particular match against a particular wrestlers. He's obviously gonna decide who it's gonna be, and he's not gonna just take anything. But I think I think if somebody presents him with a pretty decent
Top Dollar.
I think Top Dollar might be a no. I think he might say, that knee, as he grabs his knee. I'd love to work with Top Dollar, but my knee, as he sits back in his wheelchair.
But that's what they throw out as like the first, and he's like, well, that's your first veto. You've only got two more.
Yeah, right.
Then, we'll see.
No, if it's The Rock, he pops up and that knee is feeling good, and he's doing a moonsault in 2 minutes. But if it's Top Dollar, he's sitting very deep in that wheelchair. No, brother, can't do it. So.
Well, the other thing is that he's bringing Kiyomiya with him, right?
Yes.
That came out. So this could just be all one big sort of bargaining. I mean, he said that it's not about him working for WWE, but I don't understand why he would bring him if there wasn't going to be some kind of negotiation.
Yes, and we talked about that on the flagship this week, that I tend to think that Kiyomiya might say he's there to hold Muta's bags or whatever, and he's probably going to do that. He's probably going to help him at the airport and do all that sort of stuff. But I also think it's Muta saying, let me do you a favor, kid. Let me get you in the building with these guys and in the room with these guys, and let's see if we can get you signed or something, whatever it is. Me or you.
We'll see if they show him
whatever.
in the crowd. If they show Kiyomiya in the crowd, like clapping or something.
That I'm fascinated by that. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. And he might show up to the building and Muta might say, here's my guy. And they might take one look at him and go, we're good. You know what I mean? Because it is WWE. They're not exactly jumping at every, top Japanese talent saying, wow, this is one of the best wrestlers in the world. And he's Japanese. Incredible. We got to have this guy. That's not necessarily how but I don't know. I'm very fascinated to see how that all plays out and how this whole induction is. If it's all in character, if it's Muto, or it's just Muta and he comes out and he doesn't talk and he spits mist at a guy and then he leaves. It's like, okay.
Showing Kiyomiya in the crowd with a name Chiron.
That will tell you a lot.
But that would be the equivalent of when they showed Velvet Sky with her name because she's also, out of the canon. I know you don't want to compare Velvet Sky to Kiyomiya, but that was just what came to mind.
No.
Using the Hall of Fame as like a out of canon sort of place.
Yeah, and several people have been like rehired by being at the Hall of Fames, accompanying people to the Hall of Fames. Like that's a very important thing. And Muto, no, he's like one of the top political maneuverers in wrestling history, basically. So he knows how important, So he's smart here. He's definitely smart, and Kiyomiya is probably smart if he's truly looking for an out. Like this is the best place to do it. Is hang around Muto all weekend, get in front of those guys, get shown on camera or whatever. I mean, there's so much you can do with that for him. So there you go. That is the Hall of Fame. And that is SmackDown. And now our final one that we're going to preview here, Ewan, is going to be GCW's Emo Fight, 11:59 p.m. Pacific Time, Ukrainian Cultural Center. This is also on Friday. So far, we have one match announced, Lio Rush versus Jimmy Jacobs. We also have scheduled to appear somebody that has appeared many times on various Voices of Wrestling podcasts, including the Patreon stuff. Wicked Phase Springs Eternal. Little Aaron will be there. Kevin Blackwood will be there. And Horsehead will be there. Ewan, what can you tell me about GCW Emo Fight? Emo.
I used to be into emo a lot. But I was just thinking, I don't want to. Emo and I think this is a perfect branding actually, because emo is like wrestling. It's like if you're into it and someone asks you about it or gets the wrong idea, then if you're a nerd, you're going to spend like 5 minutes like being, oh no, actually, wrestling isn't this, or emo music isn't this. So it is emo and wrestling are these nerd sort of genres for people, and this is the perfect branding. No one's going to this because it's Lio Rush and Jimmy Jacobs. They're going to it because they used to be into emo when they were a kid, and now they're in the 30s, and it's a bit of nostalgia. And I think in the past they've done DJs and stuff, right?
Yeah. I'm assuming you're going to get a performance from Wicked Phase. Will definitely perform. He did last year. Yeah. They did Emo Fight. Little Aaron will as well. I don't know if Kevin Blackwood. I'm sorry. He's a wrestler. I don't know. He's probably in a band. He looks like a guy who's in an emo band, so I'm sure he is. And Horsehead is also somebody. So you're going to get, it's mostly a concert, and you're also going to get Lio Rush versus Jimmy Jacobs, which kind of works because Jimmy Jacobs has got the Ring of Honor emo, like back in the mid 2000s, he was doing the, Jimmy Loves Lacey sort of emo gimmick, and Lio Rush has done his Blackheart gimmick time and time again. So it's going to be steeped in emo rap, emo. It's gonna work. If you're going to the show not because you're going, like you said, all right, let's get some great wrestling. It's 11:59 p.m. If you're going, it's because you want to see these guys perform, not because. And that's, I think, one of the problems what they did last year is they tried to make it a wrestling show and kind of shoehorn concerts into it. It feels like this year they're basically like, this is an emo show that might also have a wrestling match, but it's also going to be a very emo-based wrestling match. So look, if you're not into emo, don't come, is what they're essentially saying. Because last year, like, Wicked Phase was doing his concert, and people were like booing and stuff, and it's like, well, okay, don't come to the show then. Like, it's clear what this show is supposed to be. Like, don't.
Yeah, this is a vibe show.
Yes,
I think it's probably not going to translate well on video, on sort of on the stream, but if you're there live, you're probably going to have a really good time.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, as long as you know what you're getting into.
Right. You got to know what this is. This is not a wrestling show. It's an emo show that has some wrestling elements to it. If you go in with that idea, you'll probably enjoy it. But again, it's probably a better served going there live and not watching it. Like, my time would be like, 2 a.m. on Saturday morning. I guess for you, it'd be right when you wake up or so. So I guess you could wake up with some Emo Fight if you'd really like. But no, it's an interesting show, and I think it's an interesting booking for it. But I don't know that I'm going to be, getting my weekend all arranged to make sure that I'm awake or around for Emo Fight, but might be something cool to check out, depending on how that Lio Rush Jimmy Jacobs match goes as well. But
it could be a great match. I mean, they're two good wrestlers. So
for sure. And that's it for the ones that we wanted to preview. Ewan, anything else that kind of stands out to you on Mania Weekend, or things that you're kind of look forward to with the weekend? I know obviously New Japan and Impact looks like a pretty good show. You mentioned Tokyo Joshi Pro a little bit earlier. Will be there for the weekend. Anything else that kind of stands out to you or catches your eye?
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to definitely watch the Impact show, the TJPW show. I mean, obviously, I think I have quite different tastes to you, Rich. So, like last year, I was quite into Zicky Dice's sort of wacky show, and I quite like some of the more, I don't know, like just a bit off kilter stuff. I don't think they're doing that this year, but the kind of the Russell, what's it called, WrestleMania?
WrestleMania, the Russell Crowe presents WrestleMania.
Yeah. Russell Crowe is not appearing.
No, in case you're wondering, Russell Crowe will not be there. They have made that very clear that he's not going to be there. So,
I just kind of love that sort of like carny spirit in a way. Just I don't think Kaiju Big Battle.
They're not. I know. I'm very disappointed. That used to be my favorite, like 11 p.m. midnight on, like, you've watched a bunch of really good wrestling and now it's like, you know what, I'm just gonna sit back. I always like fell asleep halfway through the show, but it wasn't because it was boring. It was just like, I'm tired, I've been watching wrestling all day. Always threw on a Kaiju Big Battle. I think that they got it more than almost any other comedy company, wrestling company gets.
DDT, they were the ones who brought DDT West in 2019. They had this, like, the street fights and stuff. So I don't know. I'll probably check out WrestleMania. I might check out WrestleMania as well. I'll probably watch the main event of that. But we'll see what's on. The WrestleCon is always good. Mark Hitchcock seems to always be a pretty good shout to check out. So
there it is. So even before we depart, if you want to get your plugs out of the way, let people know where they can follow you, where they can read you, where they can listen to you, any of that other good stuff. Take it away.
No, I don't really have any. I don't have any shows. I just write some articles for voicesofwrestling.com every year, so you can check out that site and find my articles on there,
including a preview of DDT Goes to Hollywood, which will be up by the time I think most of you guys listen to this. It should be up on the website. So, and a few other things throughout the weekend as well. But don't go on Twitter. Don't follow anybody on Twitter. Just delete Twitter. It's probably the better way to do it. I mean, we still have it, but we don't need it. I mean, just don't get rid of it. It's terrible. So I love it. I love the plug being don't use Twitter. But I appreciate that. It works for me too. So, Ewan, I want to thank you again for coming on here and helping us preview these shows. Have a good weekend, and we'll talk to you again later.
Cheers. Thank you.
Come on, man.
Do you love wrestling? Do you love All Elite Wrestling? Make sure you check out The Good, The Bad, and The Hungee here on the Voices of Wrestling Podcasting Network. My name is Tyler Fornes, and my co-host Fred Moreland and I discuss all the happenings of All Elite Wrestling across the universe, including when they make trips overseas. We talk about Dark, we talk about Rampage, we talk about Dynamite, and everything in between, including Tony Khan and his both brilliant and confusing booking. Make sure you check us out. We drop our shows on Thursdays to make sure that we keep up with Dynamite and make sure we give you all the current happenings in All Elite Wrestling.
Hello there, my name's Neil David and I'm the host of Eurograps Express, the podcast exclusively dedicated to the wrestling of Europe. If it's wrestling and it happens in Europe and it's good, we talk about it. Whether it's Rev Pro, Progress, WXW, Passion Pro, Pro Wrestling Chaos, Pro Wrestling North, we don't care, we talk about them all. If it's good and it's exciting, I want to share it with you. We're on the Voices of Wrestling Podcasting Network. Check us out on the feed, check us out on Twitter at EuroGrapsEXP, and join us for chat about European wrestling and a little bit of chat about cheese. Hopefully see you there.